And they're starting 6'10" junior out of Toledo. So the first truly big test in terms of a quality post player tonight for Capital.
Yeah, and Roy has only played 21 minutes a game. He has struggled with foul trouble this season, but he still is averaging 11 points per game. So obviously he is a big issue for them, but for Wittenberg, they need to keep him out of foul trouble. The fact that he has 12 personal fouls in 3 games, he's averaging 4 fouls a game, just to show you, how much he's been in foul trouble this season. So that could be a key in this one.
We'll step aside, and when we come back, we'll take a look around the Ohio Athletic Conference, who has stood out, and what games are being played tonight around the OAC. That is coming up, and much more, here on the Jimmy John's pregame show.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the expert experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show. Alongside Jimmy Bloomfield, I'm Charlie Danis. Let's now take a look around the Ohio Athletic Conference. First, the games on the slate tonight around the OAC. Well, Jimmy, we got to see a major upset, as we talked about earlier in the pregame show, with Otterbein taking down perennial power Ohio Wesleyan.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see us match up with Otterbein and just what's going to happen this year. It's just not expecting Otterbein to be that competitive as well. And we're going to get to see them pretty soon here. They play at Capital on Saturday, December 10th. So about 2 weeks from Saturday, we'll see, or 1 week from Saturday, we'll see what's going on with the Cardinals, and that'll probably be a pretty packed house for that game as well towards the end of break, or towards the end of the semester right before break. So I'm sure the students will be looking for something exciting to do as well. So that game could turn out to be a really good game. It has been a great game between those two teams, but both teams record-wise haven't really been competitive in the conference, and this could be the year where both Otterbein and Capital kind of raise that up and maybe both qualify for the tournament.
Another game going on involving an OAC team. John Carroll currently trailing Hope 48-37 at the half. And then coming up, our game at 8 o'clock. And those are the only games being played in the OAC at this moment in time. Capital off to a nice start during the 2016-2017 campaign. They are 4-1 overall. Only 3 teams within the OAC have remained without a loss so far this year. Marietta 5-0, Baldwin-Wallace 4-0, and Muskingum 3-0. All 3 of those teams undefeated. That's the word that I was looking for as I was trying to figure out my words early on.
Yeah, tough to read into that as well, because obviously vastly different schedules from some of these teams. But Muskingum being undefeated at this point kind of is a question mark at this point if they're going to be competitive. We saw them step up in football this year too, so maybe they can get competitive in some of the other sports, which would be good for the conference. I'm all for a super competitive conference with more parity as well. You know, we started to see some of that last year on the basketball side of things, and again with Otterbein's huge win, Muskingum looking undefeated, Baldwin-Wallace even looking undefeated. That's good things to see around the conference.
Let's now go ahead and take a look at what's happening in the Capitol Corner. Let's take a look at what's been transpiring with the women's basketball team, Jimmy. We got to see them for the first time in person last Saturday when they took on Mount Aloysius. The women's team coming away with a 69-59 win over the Mounties. And boy, oh boy, what a game it was for Cassidy Bosch, the freshman guard. 16 points to go along with 3 assists and 8 rebounds. She is filling in for the injured Annika Watchman, who continues to come back from a foot injury. And I know there's still a lot of basketball left to be played, but Annika might have to watch out for being wildly pipped here because Bosch seems like she is accustomed to playing that point guard role.
Yeah, well, just one game, obviously, so it's tough to read in what could happen, but she also led the team in rebounds, tied with Fondesi for 8 in that game. So she had 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals as well. She did have 5 turnovers. But a great game. She played 38 minutes, so played some big-time minutes for them. Annika's sister, also Ellie Watchman, played really well off the bench. She scored 10 points in 12 minutes on 5 of 7 shooting, picked up 5 rebounds and a block as well. So that was good to see off the bench. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Dixie does with the rotation and if Annika's ready for Saturday's game. They're going to need her. They're playing Ohio Northern. It's going to be one of their tougher games in conference, but it is at home at least to start off the conference season. So, I want to start 1-0 in conference play, obviously, but you don't want to rush Annika back either. So it's kind of a question there, and we'll see what Dixie decides to do.
Well, actually, Jimmy, I actually have an update about that. I was talking with women's basketball assistant coach Jason Wright earlier. He was just getting done with a workout, and I ran into him during the first game of tonight's doubleheader, and he said the best thing to watch out for when it comes to Annika is she will probably come back for the Otterbein game. So not this Saturday against Ohio Northern, but the more target date is December the 10th, and that would be very much welcome because that is the Otterbein game. You have to have all hands on deck for that rivalry game.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of smart. Obviously, the thing that would rush her back is the fact that they're playing Ohio Northern, who's favored to be atop the conference. So I mean, that's the only thing that kind of makes you want to rush Annika back. But it is a long, grueling season once you get into conference play. And there's really no reason to rush her back and then have that layoff between break. Obviously, they'll have the holiday tournament, but you kind of don't want to ramp her up and then slow her back down and ramp her up. If you're going to have her come back, you'd rather have her come back full speed. So that's probably why we'll see her sit out an extra week or two.
And by the way, a reminder, that game we will have for you the conference opener against Ohio Northern. Tip-off is scheduled for 3 o'clock. We'll get things started with a pregame show at 2:30 that day. But in the meantime, we're still getting ready for men's basketball here at the Capitol Center. Wittenberg and Capitol taking on one another as part of the OAC NCAC Challenge. The North Coast Athletic Conference and the Ohio Athletic Conference getting together with 2 of their better teams here tonight at the Capitol Center. We will step aside once again as we continue with the Jimmy John's pregame show here on your home for Capitol men's basketball, the Capitol Sports Network.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Ed, what is that bizarre contraption?
It's my latest Jimmy John's online ordering enhancement, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir. You know our popular Jimmy John's online ordering service?
Yes, click, order, eat.
This is the perfect time-saving companion.
How perfect, Ed?
Presenting the Jimmy John's F4000 three-dimensional sandwich printer.
Oh, boy.
So we put one of these babies in the home of every Jimmy John's customer.
Uh-huh.
They order the sandwich online.
Uh-huh.
And we send a signal to the F4000 to make their sandwich.
Ed, how much does one of these babies cost?
With the quantity discount, $50,000, sir.
And how long does it take to print a sandwich?
About 8 hours, sir.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
So back to the drawing board?
No, stay away from the drawing board, Ed.
Welcome back to the Capitol Center as we continue with the Jimmy John's pregame show. It is now time to set the table for Capitol. This is brought to you by Pepsi and the Crusaders. Jimmy, off to a rather nice start. They are 4-1 on the season, suffered their first loss against Mount St. Joseph's. And, let's be honest here, Jimmy, Mount St. Joe's a very good team, off to a 5-0 start this season. And it was going to be tough to get not one but two consecutive road games. At least Capital has that win against Ohio Wesleyan under their belt.
Yeah, they were in the game. It just got ugly towards the end there. It was, I think, 44-40 at one point in the second half, and then it just kind of got pulled away from them. A strong finish by the Mounties, I believe is their team name over there at Mount St. Joe. So, I mean, we'll see tonight what they can respond to after that loss. Obviously, you don't want to lose games, but you learn a lot about yourselves in losses more so than wins, I'd say. And not a bad loss to a 5-0 team. We'll see what kind of energy they come out with today as a result of it.
I'll tell you one big positive to take away from that Mount St. Joe's game. How about Kirk Geisy? Comes off the bench, shoots 8 of 14 from the field, 2 of 5 from three-point range, 4 of 5 from the foul line, 22 points on the day. We talk about, Jimmy, how this Capital team clearly has athletic talent, but it's youthful athletic talent. How big is Kirk Geisy going to be, especially with that veteran leadership of his?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing that he brings to the table is his leadership, obviously. And the fact that he'll take a back seat and come off the bench with all those younger players ahead of him starting just kind of shows you the kind of guy he is. And he's been getting it done the last few games here, 22 points against Mount St. Joe's, like you said. And we're seeing a lot of players contribute. Shrek's been contributing. Weingartner's been a big scorer at times, Tyrell Jackson, and then you've got the others that come off the bench, the Will Hannas, the Yahayas of the world that have been playing pretty well.
And finally, Jimmy, we talked about how Chad Roy, and we'll get to this later in our Wittenberg preview, but Chad Roy, 6'10" junior out of Toledo, he's going to be starting there in the middle for Wittenberg. I was really impressed with the depth that Capital has in the post, particularly Tyler Jamison. 6'6", 220-pound freshman out of Chillicothe, Ohio. We also saw Nate Boone a little bit in that win over Olivet. There's talent to be had in those two post positions for Capital going forward with Boone and Jamison.
They need to go right at Roy today. Again, he's 6'10", you just said it, and he has 3 rebounds a game, and that just shows you how little he's been on the floor because of the foul trouble. He's a big body, which makes him a big target as well in the post, so they need to start slashing at him and work it down there immediately. If Roy is going to dominate defensively, make him do that. If not, get him into foul trouble, get him off the floor, make someone else beat you.
When we come back, we will set the table for Wittenberg. What to expect from the Tigers tonight, a perennial power, or at least usually a perennial power, out of the North Coast Athletic Conference. This is the Jimmy John's pregame show.
Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Planks Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Planks Cafe and Pizzeria? Planks is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show. Let's now go ahead and set the table for Capital's opponent tonight. That be the Tigers of Wittenberg. This is brought to you by Capital Dining Services. Well, Jimmy, we've talked about Chad Roy, the big presence in the middle for Capital, the 6'10" junior out of Toledo, Ohio. Now I want to talk about their standout guard, Ryan Gallimore, 6'1" sophomore out of Loveland, Ohio, off to a nice start, averaging 18 points per game.
10 of 22 from outside, 45% there as well. He doesn't do well with the assist-to-turnover ratio. He's at 6 assists and 8 turnovers, so has been a little bit sloppy with the ball himself, but averaging over a steal a game. And he's their minutes guy. He's averaging 32 minutes a game for them, and they only have one other player, Shane Edwards, the other one, averaging over 30 minutes a game. So he's someone they really rely on, and he's the backcourt guy. They kind of 1-2 punch with Chad Roy. Roy, don't get it confused. It's, again, with the 11.7 points per game, you would seem that Gallimore is the guy for this team, but Roy is really probably their best player, and Gallimore is that supporting guy who's coming off to a great start to the season in 3 games here. So he's the guy to stop outside, and Roy's the guy to stop inside.
Well, and also another guy to stop as well, Jimmy, Landon Horman. Horman, a 6'5 senior out of West Liberty, Ohio, averaging a little over 11 points per game. And judging by the look of his stats, looks like the perfect senior glue guy that just keeps everybody together. If you need a bucket as the shot clock is winding down, looks like Horman's your guy.
He's been great. 65% from the field, 3 of 6 from outside, so even has a little bit of an outside jumper. And he's our second leading rebounder with 6 rebounds a game. Kind of like a Ben Denhoff kind of guy from this team on Capitol here a few years ago. Like you said, that guy that'll make a big shot here and there, and he's just that guy that's going to be out there giving you solid minutes.
We've already talked about how nice it was to get a win over Ohio Wesleyan. How nice would it be for Capital to get a win over Wittenberg? Like I said, is usually a pretty good team coming out of the NCAC.
Yeah, the NCAC is kind of like the sister conference here to the OAC, both with a lot of schools here in Ohio. Obviously, the OAC has all Ohio schools, and the majority in the NCAC from Ohio as well. And these are the kind of schools in your region that you're going to be stacked up against when national polls and regional polls are looking at who's the best teams from this region. These are the kind of games that matter for that. So to make a statement to, I don't know if that's a big concern for them or not, but come tournament time, it can be. I mean, if this team is in the at-large conversation with some big wins in conference, this could be a game that puts them, is Wittenberg on the bubble, is Capital on the bubble? That head-to-head could be a huge game for them. But just from a confidence standpoint, you beat Ohio Wesleyan. If you can beat Wittenberg, you're beating 2 of the top 5 teams, generously the top 5 teams, maybe even better than that, from the NCAC. That is going to be huge come conference time when you have those big matchups. You can draw back on these games and how much success you've had against quality teams from your state. So this is another game just like the Ohio Wesleyan game. Plus, it's on your home floor. You want to win this game.
Before we go to commercial break, I want to get you updated with a couple of scores. First, from the OAC, John Carroll still trailing Hope 50-42 with 17-13 remaining in the second half. And a couple of Division I scores involving top 25 teams. Number 7, Xavier, all over North Dakota State, 77-47 with 5.5 to play in the second half. They are at halftime at good old Penn. And right now the Quakers, well, they're trailing number 2, Villanova, 44-25. A matchup out of the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Number 17, Wisconsin, leading number 22, Syracuse, 32-22 in that one, with 7:26 left to play in the first half. When we return, we will get the keys to the game. What does Capital have to do to get a win against Wittenberg tonight? We will tell you after this commercial break. You are listening to the Jimmy John's pregame show.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show. Let's now take a look at tonight's keys to the game. Well, Mr. Bloomfield, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of go to turnovers first, and especially today, playing at home. It's been kind of a week since they've been going. They've had a tough game against Mount St. Joe's, and turnovers were an issue there. And Wittenberg doesn't really do a very good job of causing turnovers either. Their opponents have just 12.7 turnovers per game. So Capital, if they take care of the basketball, they should be okay here today, as Wittenberg does not do a very good job of that. And Capital, on the other hand, themselves has only caused 9.8 turnovers per game while turning it over 15 times, a -5 turnover margin. So if they keep that up, they're not going to be 4-1 for very long. And again, I think Josh Roy comes down to Chad Roy, a big matchup down low for them with the 6'10 center, let's call him. They need to get at him early and get him into foul trouble. He has 12 fouls in 3 games, averaging 4 fouls a game. His numbers would be so much higher if he was not in foul trouble. And this is not the day that we want him to wake up here for the Crusaders. So they need to make sure they go at him early and often and try to get him into some foul trouble. And third, I mean, just play a clean game here today. Let's avoid the foul troubles ourselves and just keep everybody getting into their nice roles and keep chipping in with 6 and 7 points for some of the role players. Let's get Weingardner in double figures. Let's get Jackson in double figures, Geisy in double figures, and piece together enough points to win this game.
You just mentioned his name, Joey Weingartner. I was talking with Capital assistant coach Andy Winters before actually the first game of our doubleheader, and I asked him which player needs to have a big game. Joey Weingartner was the first name off the tip of his tongue. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree that anyone needs to have a big game, because the way they've been doing it is they just kind of pitch into points wherever they can get them. So I'm not too concerned. I don't think that they need someone to score 20 points tonight to win this game, but I mean, they need Weingardner to get double figures. Absolutely, I would agree with that. He's averaging, 14 a game right now. They need probably about that. He's actually averaging 12.2, so I'd say that's pretty fair. As long as he's in double figures and everyone else is pitching in with their 5 and 6 here and there, I think we'll be all right tonight.
Capital trying to go for its 5th win of the young 2016-2017 campaign, taking on the Tigers of Wittenberg tonight as part of the 2016 OAC NCAC Challenge. You often see across the spectrum of college basketball different conferences getting together, different teams facing off at different venues. A good example of that is the ACC Big Ten Challenge, and this is what the NCAC and the OAC get to do. And obviously, Jimmy, with all these teams in close proximity to one another within the state of Ohio, makes sense.
Yeah, I wish they would expand the format, too, to get maybe 6, 7, 8 teams involved. It is cool, and we have a lot of people here. Everyone that was here for the OWU game looks like they've stuck around for another game as well. There's a pretty good turnout from the student section, which looks to have some kind of holiday theme going on today as well. So it's going to be a fun atmosphere, and kind of like the Otterbein game where it's nice and loud in here. That should make for a more fun night.
And when we come back, we will have, hopefully, starting lineups, the opening tip-off. We'll be able to get things started here at the Capital Center. You have been listening to the Jimmy John's pregame show here on your home for Capital Men's Basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Just as fresh as its pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332. Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Ed, what is that bizarre contraption?
It's my latest Jimmy John's online ordering enhancement, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir. You know our popular Jimmy John's online ordering service?
Yes, click, order, eat.
This is the perfect time-saving companion.
How perfect, Ed?
Presenting the Jimmy John's F4000 three-dimensional sandwich printer.
Oh, boy.
See, we put one of these babies in the home of every Jimmy John's customer.
Uh-huh.
They order the sandwich online.
Uh-huh.
And we send a signal to the F4000 to make their sandwich.
Ed, how much does one of these babies cost?
With the quantity discount, $50,000, sir.
And how long does it take to print a sandwich?
About 8 hours, sir.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
So back to the drawing board?
No, stay away from the drawing board, Ed.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome into this presentation of Capital Men's Basketball here on the Capital Sports Network alongside Jimmy Bloomfield. I am Charlie Danis. We will not have any national anthem for our game because that was played before the first game of tonight's doubleheader with Otterbein taking care of business against Ohio Wesleyan. Tonight, we get to see Capital take on the Tigers of Wittenberg. Capital coming out of the Ohio Athletic Conference. Wittenberg, they hail from the North Coast Athletic Conference. Let's now get you the starting lineups for both teams. These are presented by Dill's Greenhouse. First, for the visiting Tigers of Wittenberg University, the starting lineup for the Tigers look like this. Number 3, Ryan Gallimore will start at guard. He's a 6'1" sophomore out of Loveland, Ohio. Also at guard will be the 5'11" senior from Xenia, Ohio. Number 10, Cody Philippi. At forward will be the 6'5" senior from West Liberty, Ohio. Number 33, Landon Horman. Also at guard will be the 6'3" senior from Harrisburg, Ohio. Number 35, Shane Edwards. And finally, rounding out the starting five for Wittenberg will be the 6'10" junior from Toledo, Ohio. Number 55, Chad Roy. The head coach of the Tigers is Matt Prosey. Starting lineup now for Capital looks like this. At guard will be the sophomore, 6'3", 200-pound sophomore from Erlanger, Kentucky. Number 3, Austin Schreck. Also at guard will be the 6', 200-pound sophomore from Centerville, Ohio. Number 22, Joey Weingartner. Also at guard will be the 6'2" senior from Dublin, Ohio. Number 23, Tyrell Jackson. Also at forward will be the 6'7" freshman from Columbus, Ohio. That'll be number 33, Nate Boone. And rounding out the starting five for Capital will be the 6'6" freshman from Chillicothe, Ohio. Number 45, Tyler Jamison. Damon Goodwin, your head coach for your Capital Crusaders in his 22nd year on the bench for Capital. Well, Jimmy, this is only going to be our second game that we get to see Capital in person. What are you looking to see tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we've been kind of talking about the keys to today's game, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with this rotation and if they keep chipping in. Everyone's kind of had their role, and we're still trying to search for who's going to be the primary scorer and the secondary scorer and things of that nature. You mentioned Weingartner is one of those guys, Jackson one of those guys as well. They've been giving them double-digit figures in both their last few games and on the season as well as an average. So they need to continue that here tonight, and we need everybody to get the extra few points that they've been getting as well.
Getting ready for tonight's opening tip brought to you by Zoe's Cafe. Well, obviously they're going to have their big man Chad Roy jump it up if you are the Tigers for Wittenberg. Meanwhile, for Capital, most likely it's going to be Tyler Jamison, the 6'6" freshman out of Chillicothe, Ohio. Wittenberg wearing their customary red uniforms, with white lettering and numbers on the jerseys. Meanwhile, Capital with their white jerseys, purple numbers outlined by white, and the words Capital in white outlined by purple.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to win this tip against the 6'10" Roy.
Well, Tyler Jamison might be up to the task. We shall see. And Roy will win it. Pretty easy when you're 6'10". We're underway here at the Capitol Center. Tigers with the first possession of the game. Gallimore will bounce on over to Philippi. Philippi on the right wing. Philippi dribbling to his left. Thought about a step back three, but instead slows his roll. Now gets it on over to Horman. Horman trying to back his way down. Has his shot blocked out of bounds, but it will be off of Capital's Nate Boone. Nice defensive play that time by the 6'7" freshman out of Columbus. Went to Bishop Watterson High School during his prep days here in Central Ohio. 19:38 remaining in the first half. Capital and Wittenberg still scoreless. Three-pointer on the way, and it is good. Knocked down by Landon Horman, the 6'5" senior out of West Liberty, Ohio. A 3-0 lead for Wittenberg. So now Schreck running the point guard duties for Capital out near midcourt. He's dribbling back and forth, going backwards, going forwards. Now gets the ball back from Tyrell Jackson. Schreck on the left wing will go inside the Jackson. Jackson will try to knock his man back, but a jumper, and that is good for Nate Boone.
Yeah, Boone got into foul trouble that first game that we watched here at the Cap Center, Charlie, so it's good to see Boone get involved early already. He's had some nice games this year.
Wittenberg 3, Capital 2, 18:58 remaining in the first half. Handling the ball now is Chad Roy. Now they go inside to Edwards. Edwards being guarded by Jackson. Edwards will feed it back out. Three-pointer on the way. That is no good for Gallimore. Tipped up in the air, and it is collected by Roy. But Roy loses it out of bounds. It'll be Capital ball.
And you saw just how much they were crashing the boards on Roy there. He looked like he had a clear path to that rebound, and then Jackson, Schreck, and Jamison all went right to him as soon as he touched the ball. So they were definitely aware of his presence down low.
Wittenberg 3, Capital 2, 18:41 remaining in the first half. Tyrell Jackson, former Dublin Cop and Shamrock, brings it up the court for Capital. Now he's on the left wing, gives it off to Schreck. Schreck, the Kentucky native, on the right wing. Now it's over to Boone at the top of the arc. Boone trying to dribble on in, but now gives off to Schreck. Schreck from the elbow, knocks it down for Capital. 4-3 in favor of the Crusaders. Now here comes Wittenberg back offensively. Gallimore, he's on the right wing being guarded by Schreck. Now he bounces it over to Horman. Horman will go inside. Quick pass on the inside to Edwards. Edwards, turnaround Jay, gets the shooter's roll. It's good.
And Edwards is a key player for Wittenberg as well because he kind of shares the post duties with Roy, and Roy's getting so much attention that it kind of opens up Edwards in the paint.
Wittenberg 5, Capital 4, jumper on the way. That is woefully short. As Weingartner was trying for his first bucket of the game. Quickly back to the other side, and missed layup by Edwards. And now Capital's coming the other way. Here comes Schreck down the lane, and he got fouled on his way to the bucket, so now he'll go to the cherry stripe. Looks like they're going to get Landon Horman on the foul.
Kind of a bailed out foul there. There's a lot of traffic down low. Schreck didn't really have much to do, but went up strong like you need to do. And unfortunately, that one's not on Roy, but good to see Schreck get to the free throw line. He had a bucket earlier.
First foul of the game goes against Wittenberg. Schreck, meanwhile, at the free throw line, knocks down his first free throw. Ties this game at 5 apiece with 17:41 remaining in the first half. Capital and Wittenberg taking on one another on the hard court here at the Capitol Center. Second free throw on the way for Schreck, and that one is good as well.
Schreck had been 14 of 20 at the free throw line, one of the better shooters on the team. Overall, shooting just 66%.
Capital 6, Wittenberg 5. 17:33 left to play in the first half. It's swung around to Philippi. Philippi will now bounce it over to Gallimore at the top of the arc. Being guarded by Schreck. 13 on the shot clock. Gallimore trying to go baseline. Cut off by Schreck. Now they get it in. Tipped up in the air. Still tipped up in the air. And coming down with it is Boone. He'll feed it ahead to Jackson. Bounces it over to Schreck. Schreck finishes at the rim.
And that entry pass, they fronted it to Roy, obviously, and then Roy collided with his own player there. which allowed Capital to get an easy 2 points.
Capital 8, Wittenberg 5, 17:01 left to play in the first half. Gallimore, sophomore out of Loveland, Ohio. He'll bounce it over to Edwards on the left wing. Edwards dribbling to his right, still dribbling, finally gets it into the corner to Philippi with 9 on the shot clock. Now they go inside to Roy. Roy trying to back Jamison down, and he gets it off the glass and in.
And they've been trying to deny that position all day, obviously, and that was the first time Roy finally got a clean look, but too easy from there.
Capital 8, Wittenberg 7. Under 16 and a half to play in our first half of action. Jackson on the right wing, being hounded defensively by Horman. Jackson dribbles to his left before finally passing it off to Weingartner. And now Jackson will go on the inside. He was fouled before he hoisted the shot. Another foul against Wittenberg, already the second against the Tigers. And speaking of the Tigers, they make a couple of substitutions as looks like Jalen Williams and also Connor Seipel will come into the game for Wittenberg.
Geisy checking in as well for Schreck, and he'll be inbounding here. Jackson normally does his damage from outside, but he had been getting guarded by Felipe. He's got about 4 inches on him. Like to see him go inside maybe, but Felipe is obviously out of the game now.
Three-pointer for Weingartner is off the mark, and it will bounce over the backboard and out of bounds. It'll be Tiger ball. Kurt Geisy coming off of a sensational performance against Mount St. Joe's, 22 points. For Kurt Geisy.
And even though Weingartner's struggling early here, Charlie, he did struggle on his first couple of shots in that game where he had 20 as well, so don't give up on him yet.
Passed over to Gallimore, now goes inside, and is picked off by Weingartner. Here he comes down the court, and he finishes at the rim.
There
nice
you go.
Play by Joey.
Right on time for Weingartner there, and hopefully that gets him going a little bit from the field. Sometimes it just takes seeing one go in.
Capital 10, Wittenberg 7, 15:38 left to play in the first half. Gallimore dribbling through some traffic. Now it's swung over to Roy. Roy will get it inside further to Seipel. Seipel off the side of the backboard, and Jamison comes away with the rebound. Geisy now trying to dribble forward. Now he'll kill his dribble, gets it over to Jamison. Jamison, the post player, will hand off to Geisy. Geisy, jumper, good for Kurt. And now a timeout will be taken by Wittenberg. We'll take a timeout as well. 15-12 remaining in the first half. It's Capital 12, Wittenberg 7, here in your home for Capital Men's Basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Planks Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Planks Cafe and Pizzeria? Planks is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
15-12 remaining in the first half. It is Capital 12, Wittenberg 7. Jimmy, what do you make of the start so far?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been too surprised by anything we've seen. Players chipping in. The 6 from Schreck, I think, kind of jumps out right now, but good start so far defensively. Hopefully they keep the pressure going.
Ganayu Yahaya is now in the game for Capital. Gallimore dribbling around. Nearly picked off by Jamison right there. Double team by Roy. Now they get it back out. A three-pointer on the way, and it is good for Jalen Williams.
Good-looking shot from Williams, and Wittenberg has the ability to make some shots from the outside. They're 35% on the year, averaging about 6 threes a game.
Capital 12, Wittenberg 10 with 14:28 left to play in the first half. Weingartner dribbling around, and a ball that will be batted out of bounds. Is that off of Capital? No, it's off of a Wittenberg player, as it was Jalen Williams who batted out of bounds for Capital, for the Tigers, excuse me. 14:22 left to play in the first half. Capital holding a slim 12-10 lead over the Tigers. Weingartner loses it off his foot, out of bounds, and it will be Tiger ball. Careless mistake right there for Weingartner, and now Schreck is coming back in. (14:17) remaining in the first half. Capital with that 12-10 lead over Wittenberg, at least at the moment. Cody Philippi on the left wing. Being guarded by Geisy. Now he hands off to Williams. Williams trying to back Jackson down. He'll drive on in. Now a pass over to Slonaker. And now a foul is going to be called against Capital. They get Yahaya on the foul that time. That'll be the first foul of the game for Capital. Capital 12, Wittenberg 10. 3:55 left to play in the first half. Now a dribble on inside. Jamison with some nice defense against Philippi. And Capital comes away with the rebound. Jackson now trying to drive on in. Geisy lets a defender go by him. Now a pass off to Jackson. Jackson back to Schreck. Now Schreck will back on off and will reset offensively in the half court. 13 on the shot clock. Jackson on the right wing. He'll dump it on into Schreck. Schreck gets near the hoop, and he got fouled, so now he'll head to the free throw line.
I was just going to make a comment about Jamison, actually, Charlie. He's playing phenomenally defensively. I don't know if they spoke to him about the big matchup here tonight, but he is really defending the basket right now. It's the difference in this game.
So now Schreck will head to the free throw line once again. Previously a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. And now a perfect 3 for 3 after that made foul shot. Increases Capital's lead to 3 with 13:28 left to play in the first half. And now coming into the ball game, let's see here. Jamison will check out, and coming in for Capital will be Caleb Mitchell, the 6'7" sophomore out of Urbana, Ohio. Went to Bell Fountain High School.
We've heard really good things about Caleb Mitchell this season, so he's going to have to pick up right where he left off defensively, Jamison, when he went to the bench.
Schreck makes his second free throw. It's a 14-10 lead for Capital with 13:15 remaining in the first half. Three-pointer on the way for Pomeroy, and Pomeroy knocks it down for the Tigers. Now a 1-point lead for Capital with 13:07 left to play in the first half.
That's already 3 threes for them, so they're already shooting way more than they're capable of at this point, so they need to cool off from outside. Again, they make 6 threes a game, and they're already halfway there.
So far, Capital offensively shooting 71% from the field. Schreck will get it to Yahaya. Yahaya with 10 seconds on the shot clock. G gets it over to Tyrell Jackson. Jackson now over to Schreck. Schreck, he'll now go baseline. And boy, looked like he might have gotten fouled on that play, but ball will go out of bounds. It'll still be Capital ball with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. And Schreck had been doing a nice job of getting to the foul line so far in this game too. So now Geisy will inbound it from the baseline. Kurt looking over his options. Remember, 4 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson will hoist a 3, and Tyrell will knock it down from the corner.
Got a little bit lucky there. Obviously, they just had to shoot with the shot clock getting off, and I didn't realize Jackson even knew. Throws up a crazy shot, and it goes down.
Capital 17, Wittenberg 13. 12:25 left to play in the first half. Boy, a lot of bumping on the near side as Philippi's able to get the pass away. 10 on the shot clock. Now handling the ball is Jordan Pomeroy. Pomeroy loses the ball. Now there's a loose ball up on the floor. And now, let's see here, a foul is going to be called against Capital. That'll give the Tigers a fresh shot clock.
It looks like they're going to reset the shot clock and do an inbounds because Capital never had possession. Yeah, they're putting 5 on the shot clock.
Okay.
Which I think is still too much time. It looks like they were running even lower down than that, but the shot clock got reset even though Capital never possessed the basketball, so that's why we see the stoppage.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Wittenberg gets it in. Handling it, Pomeroy. Pomeroy's going to have to hoist the shot, but it gets blocked by Schreck. Now here he comes down on the other end. Austin Schreck driving in. Floater, no good, and the rebound is taken by Wittenberg's Shane Edwards. Still a great defensive play by Schreck. Edwards now gets it out to the perimeter. Now driving in is Edwards. Edwards off the glass, no good. Still a scrum for the ball before Roy finally gets it back for the Tigers. Hook shot good. And now a whistle. And
over the end line?
Apparently it's going to be a turnover for Capital.
It looks like Yahaya stepped over the end line, but he's going to the bench. He thought that a timeout was called, so that's why he left the floor.
And Coach Goodwin had some choice words for him.
He thought a timeout was called, and that's why he came out from under the basket there towards the bench. No timeout was called, so it's a violation.
Capital 17, Wittenberg 15. 11:40 left to play in the first half. It has been a closely contested ball game so far. Philippi, guarded by Geisy on the left wing. Philippi driving in, and the layup is no good. Geisy comes away with the rebound for Capital. Here comes Kurt across half court, still driving towards the hoop. Now he has to kill his dribble. Back out to Schreck, and now Schreck will reset calmly in the half court. Gets it off to Mitchell. Now swings it over to Jackson. Tyrell, top of the arc, driving on in, pull-up jumper. That's no good for Tyrell, and the rebound is taken by Wittenberg's Landon Horman. Now dribbling up the court is Cody Philippi. And now a foul. Let's see here. Looks like it's going to be called against Mitchell. And he knew it too. He raised his left hand just to help with the process, I guess. And now coming back in for Capital is Joey Weingartner. Tyrell Jackson will check out for Capital.
And with Weingartner on Edwards right now, look for Wittenberg to get the ball down low to him. He's got a size advantage.
Philippi will inbound it from the baseline for Wittenberg. Meanwhile, Gallimore on the left wing. They get it into Roy. Roy is double teamed. Roy almost lost that out of bounds, but somehow tightrope the baseline. 17 on the shot clock. Now it's back out to Philippi. Philippi dribbling around, chases defender. Jumper, no good. Mitchell goes up for the rebound, and now coming up with the rebound is Kurt Geisy. He out-hustled Roy for that ball. Kurt now driving down the lane, and layup is no good. Wild shot by Geisy as the rebound is taken by Wittenberg's Landon Horman. 10:23 left to play in the first half. Capital leading Wittenberg 17-15. Roy back out to Gallimore. Gallimore shakes his defender. Now passes off to Philippi for three. That's no good, but Roy gets an offensive rebound. And now a foul is going to be called against Mitchell. And boy, I'm watching the body language of head coach Damon Goodwin right now. He's so frustrated, he's taking his jacket off.
Well, they got a 2-3 zone going right now. And obviously when you run a 2-3 zone, you're really susceptible to offensive rebounds as it is, because there's going to be a lot of outside shots resulting in long rebounds. And Roy was boxed out on that offensive board, but the rebound was so long, he just had to stick his arm up and grab the ball.
Dan Obel and Tyler Jamison check in for Capital, who leads Wittenberg 17-15, 10:09 remaining in the first half. Shane Edwards, now they'll go inside, and Edwards might have gotten a piece of that ball. Still a loose ball. Edwards comes away with it, or Jamison, excuse me. Schreck over to Boone. Obel gets it inside to Boone, and Boone has his shot rejected from behind by Landon Horman. Seems like we've been stuck at 17-15 for a while. That's the score. Capital leading Wittenberg. And now the bucket will roll on in for Shane Edwards. We're not at 17. And a timeout will be taken by Capital. 9:38 left to play in the first half. Capital and Wittenberg not at 17 here on your home for Capital men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Back.
9:38 left to play in the first half. Wittenberg and Capital tied at 17 here at the Capital Center. Charlie Danis and Jimmy Bloomfield bringing the action tonight from Bexley, Ohio. As Dan Obel running the point guard duties for Capital. Top of the arc, swings it over to Weingartner. Weingartner will skip it on over to Schreck. Over to Obel now. He'll bounce on into Boone. Boone will let loose a jumper. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Landon Horman. And boy, Jimmy, all of a sudden, Capital's gone cold.
Yeah, they're getting really good looks, too. They're just doing nothing with them and just taking very poor shots.
They go inside to Roy. Roy gets the bucket and a foul. The foul will go against Tyler Jamison, and now a possible three-point play for the big man from Toledo.
And it's kind of a cheapie, too, that they picked up there. It's unfortunate that that's the foul that they get called on him there. You see G come back in for Boone. Now they're going to get a little bit more athletic, and Jackson's coming in as well.
So Tyrell Jackson, G back in there for Capital. 9:01 remaining in the first half. Wittenberg with a 19-17 lead over Capital. These two teams hooking up during the OAC NCAC Challenge, a conference tilt, if you will, between the Ohio Athletic Conference and the North Coast Athletic Conference. The Ohio Athletic Conference obviously made up of teams from the state of Ohio. The North Coast Athletic Conference, most of their member schools are from the state of Ohio, but you have a couple from Indiana. You have Allegheny, who's located in New York as well.
You got, in this game, Charlie, you mentioned going cold. The last basket they made was that three-pointer by Jackson at the shot clock buzzer at 12:43. Before that, the last basket they made was back in the 15-minute mark. A Geisy layup. They've had some free throws in between there, but the last two field goals at 12 minutes and 15 minutes, and here we are at 9 minutes. They need to get something going offensively here.
So now Chad Roy trying to finish a possible three-point play here after making a bucket and being fouled by Tyler Jamison. Shot is up, and it is good. I believe this is the largest lead of the game for Wittenberg. Up by 3, 20-17, with 8:55 left to play in our first half.
You are correct. The largest lead was 3 when they made the three-pointer as well to start the game.
Schreck on the left wing, over to Dan Abel. Abel now over to Jackson on the right wing. Jackson, he's dribbling around, trying to shake his defender. Now over to Schreck. Schreck will bounce it on inside to Jamison. Back out to Abel. Abel will host a three. That is no good, but Jamison with a crucial offensive board right there. And now Abel will reset in the half court. Abel, a 6-foot freshman from Brecksville, Ohio. Gets it over to Jackson. Now back to Abel. Abel now dribbling to his right. Back out to Schreck. Schreck with 16 on the shot clock. Now over to Abel. Abel on the right wing. He gets it off to Jamison. Jamison turning around, back out to Abel. Abel to Jackson. Jackson, deep three. That's no good. Rattles in and out. Loose ball, and Wittenberg comes away with the rebound as Chad Roy grabs it for the Tigers.
They can't find anybody that can find the basket right now, Charlie. They're getting good looks. That was a deep three from Jackson, but we've seen him make that shot before, and a cheapie on Schreck as well.
Schreck was reaching in on Michael Morgan Jr., the 6'1" freshman out of Columbus, Ohio. Went to Bishop Hartley High School. Bishop Hartley, I believe, is going to be playing for another state title in football this upcoming weekend. In fact, they beat my dad's alma mater, Archbishop Alter, last week in the state football playoffs. 7:53 left to play in the first half. Capital trailing Wittenberg 20-17. They forced a turnover, however. Weingartner with the steal. Jackson back to Weingartner. Joey trying to figure out what to do with the ball. Now gets it over to Tyrell. Now it's back to Joey at the top of the arc. Weingartner, right wing. Yahaya. Yahaya drives in and misses the layup. Boy, there is a lid on that bucket. And now Yahaya battling for the ball. It'll be a jump ball, and they'll give possession to Capital.
Did you see how high he got on that layup, too? Yahaya was at the rim. We saw him throw down one time and went for another one in the home opener.
Jackson will inbound it to Yahaya. He certainly has a lot of athleticism to go around, that is for sure. Corner three for Weingartner. That's no good, and let's see her out of bounds.
Oh.
It is out of bounds off of Tyrell Jackson, at least according to one of our referees.
Jackson didn't seem to argue too much. It looked like a lot of red jerseys jumping around down by the baseline.
Capital trailing Wittenberg 20-17. 7:15 left to play in the first half. Ryan Gallimore leading the point for Wittenberg. Passes off to Jalen Williams. Now it's over to Cody Philippi. Philippi being guarded by Weingartner. He's at the top of the arc right now. Directing traffic, 10 on the shot clock. And back to Philippi. Philippi no good on the three-point attempt. And Jackson comes away with a rebound. Jackson will now go across half court. Tyrell trying to drive on in off the glass, and that one is no good. Man, oh man, Capital they can't buy a bucket right now. Philippi back over to his teammate. Three-pointer, no good for Harmon, and the rebound taken by Jackson. Boy, at some point, Capital's got to get it in the bucket, right?
Fortunately, Wittenberg hasn't really taken advantage of the drought. Capital's still somehow shooting 33%, probably due to the hot start.
Jackson for a three-pointer. Will it go in? No, it won't. And the rebound is taken by Jalen Williams.
If he follows his shot there, Charlie, he's got an easy offensive board and maybe a layup.
Wittenberg 20, Capital 17. 6:10 remaining in the first half. Boy, this game had a nice start, but now both teams have got very, very cold from the field. Capital shooting 33%, Wittenberg only 40%. They'll now go inside to Horman, and shot rejected or Jackson had it tipped away at that point.
And not a whole lot of turnovers in this game, Charlie, either. We talked about how both teams probably not going to do a good job of causing turnovers. Wittenberg has 4, Capital has 2.
Inbounding in front of the baseline is Philippi. Now a turnaround Jay. Tough shot missed by Gallimore. And now Weingartner ahead to Yahaya. Yahaya glides on in and scores with the left hand. Finger roll style. I love it. Wittenberg 20. Capital 19. 5:37 left to play in the first half. Jalen Williams bounces it over to Philippi. Philippi inside to Horman. And Horman is going to be called for a traveling violation.
Yeah, can't go from the free throw line to the low block without taking at least a dribble. That's exactly what he did there.
Jordan Pomeroy will check in for Wittenberg, as will Chris Slonaker, the junior out of Monroe, Ohio.
Without Roy in there, now's the time to get Jamison involved down low.
Geisy will get into Tyrell Jackson. Wittenberg with a couple of defenders in the backcourt, but no pressing defense of any kind. 5:18 left to play in the first half. Capital still trailing Wittenberg 20-19. Weingartner on the right wing, dribbling through traffic. Now gets it over to Jackson. Jackson dribbling to his right, back to Weingartner. Joey for 3. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Wittenberg's Chris Slonaker. A lot of one-and-done offensive possessions for Capital.
It's been that way. I mean, I was looking at the stats, said missed shot, defensive rebound, missed shot, defensive rebound, kind of been the trend.
Back out, three-pointer on the way. That will rattle in and out for Jordan Pomeroy. Offensive rebound for Wittenberg. Loose ball, and Weingartner comes up for Capital. He'll push it to Jackson. And a jam at the rim by Yahaya. Oh, my goodness. This kid can leap out of the gym.
That was awesome. I knew it was coming, too. Jackson was setting up for it at the baseline to go back to the pass there, and Yahaya throws it down.
And alley-oop brings the crowd to its feet here at the Capital Center. Holy cow.
Got Charlie out of his seat, too.
Capital 21, Wittenberg 20. Oh, boy, could we see it again? Weingartner will lay it up. And another jam at the rim by Yahaya. Holy cow. This guy's a skywalker, rim rocker. Oh, what a showstopper. Let's take a timeout and let me catch my breath. 4:10 remaining in the first half. It's Capital
This
23,
is a message for the nurses.
Wittenberg 20. This is your home for Capital Men's Basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
For those who are driven to improve care. And for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Welcome back to the Capital Center. 4:10 remaining in the first half. Capital 23, Wittenberg 20. And, whoa, Mr. Bloomfield. Okay, we've been doing basketball games for how long now? 3 years?
Oh, I haven't seen anything like that.
Oh,
I haven't
my
seen
goodness.
anything come close to that.
Gotta you, Yahaya, if you're just joining us, with back-to-back dunks at the rim on lob passes. Forget the Clippers. Capital has become Lob City.
That was so cool. The student section was on the floor celebrating. Oh, man, that was so cool to see. And that's obviously giving Capital some momentum here. They got a 3-point lead now, and a definitely needed timeout from the Tigers. We'll see how they respond. We still got about 4 minutes left to play here, and you know, coaches will tell you games are won in the last 2 minutes of each half. So we'll see as we get close to that time. But obviously, Capital's got the momentum, and they're getting easy baskets off of turnovers, which is probably the bigger story than the alley-oops itself.
4:05 remaining in the first half. Capital 23, Wittenberg 20. The Tigers being led up the court by Jordan Pomeroy. Now they get it on over to Williams. Pomeroy bounces it over to Philippi. Philippi, now they go inside. And a missed shot. Jamison might have gotten a hand on that with a block, and he comes away with a rebound eventually. Nice defense on Slonaker. Schreck now, over to Geisy. Geisy to Jamison to Jackson. Jackson on the left wing. Gets a screen from Yahaya to Geisy. Geisy now on the right wing. And he loses it out of bounds. It will go to the Crusaders. Check it back in for Wittenberg. will be Ryan Gallimore and Chad Roy.
And the 1-2 punch right there, and they're going to have some fresh legs. Got to keep them quiet here these last few minutes. Keep a lead into the halftime locker room. Got to be your focus.
And now Schreck
That's late,
driving in, and a foul will go against Capital.
They called it on Yahawa, a moving screen, but the screen was already completed. The defense already moved. The head coach jumped up from the bench for Wittenberg, and then that drew the whistle, and that's what Coach Goodwin is not happy about. And I mean, it's a late whistle, if you ask me, Charlie.
Yeah. Well, and Andy Winters being a nice assistant coach, giving the head coach a tap on the hip saying, okay, Coach, I think you've made your point. Let's get back to the game here. 3:15 remaining in the first half. Capital 23, Wittenberg 20.
I just don't agree with the call either, so I'd be right there with Coach Goodwin.
Dribbling around is Shane Edwards. Edwards now off to Gallimore. Gallimore back to Edwards. Edwards driving in. Roy making the bucket.
They made him earn that one, at least. The first two were two easy ones, and they even got a cheap foul on the and one. But that one, 6 hands were in his face as he went for that layup.
Capital 23, Wittenberg 22. Geisy, cross half court. Now he's being guarded by Gallimore. Taking his sweet time. Now gets it over to Jackson with 12 on the shot clock. Geisy with a nice cut inside, off the glass and in. Capital 25, Wittenberg 22, 2.5 to play in the first half. Gallimore. Now it's off over to Morgan. Now over to Philippi. Philippi to Gallimore. Back to Philippi with 13 on the shot clock. Philippi driving on in. Left-hand scoop shot, good. Capital 25, Wittenberg 24. 2:07 left to play in our first half. Schreck, cross half court. Over to Schreck on the left wing. Schreck to Boone, who just recently checked back in for Capital. Now to Geisy. Geisy on the right wing. Kurt will dribble. 8 on the shot clock. Foul, however, will be called against Shane Edwards. Haven't had a lot of fouls called in this game. Well, I take that back. A lot of fouls have been called against Capital. Not a lot of fouls have been called against Wittenberg tonight. That's only their 4th. Jackson will inbound it from the baseline. Now we'll get it into Jamison. Boone will now skip it on over to Geisy. Back to Jackson. 23 on the shot clock. Geisy will let loose a deep 3. That's no good for Kurt, but Jamison battling for an offensive board, and he threw it off the back of the head of Shane Edwards. Capital maintains possession. That's a heady play right there.
Yeah, he looked like he was ready to just throw it back towards the court, and then he saw Edwards right in front of him and just threw the ball off of him.
Jackson into Jamison. Now to Geisy. Kurt, top of the arc, now gets it inside to Jackson. Jackson driving in, and he was hacked on his way to the bucket. I don't know if they're going to get Jalen Williams on this or not, but in either case, Cyrell Jackson will be heading to the free throw line.
Jackson this season 9 for 13 from the free throw line, 69%.
Jackson hits his first free throw. A reminder, folks, Rusty Bucket halftime show is around the corner. We'll get you updated with scores around the OAC, also scores around Division I basketball in terms of top 25 action. Look at the halftime stats and much more. That's the Rusty Bucket halftime show coming up here in mere moments. Capital 27, Wittenberg 24. Minute 20 remaining in the first half. Jalen Williams. He will pass on off to Philippi. Philippi will let loose a 3, and Philippi knocks it down. We're all tied at 27. Geisy will get it into Schreck. Geisy now handling the basketball for Capital. Finally crosses the timeline. Under a minute now in the first half.
2-for-1 opportunity if you time it right. Got to get a shot off about 45 seconds or so.
Jackson skips it over to Boone. Now over to Schreck. Schreck, top of the arc. Turnaround J for Jackson. That's no good. Jamison tips it out, but it's collected by Wittenberg's Ryan Gallimore. Gallimore now running up the court. He'll slow his roll now. Over to Philippi. Philippi for 3, and he knocks it down again. Heat check for Philippi.
Well, they did the timing right. They got the shot they needed. Jackson just didn't make it. Philippi makes his, and now you can hold for virtually the last shot with a 2-second difference. But look up at the scoreboard now, and all of a sudden Wittenberg's got a lead.
Wittenberg 30, Capital 27, 16 seconds and counting in the first half. Jackson on the right wing, over to Geisy. Kurt dribbling with his left hand. Now splits the defenders down the middle, back to Jackson. Deep three, that's no good for Tyrell. Chasing after the ball is Nate Boone, and Philippi throws it out of bounds. He was trying to throw it off of Boone, and boy, Philippi might have hit his hand a little bit funny on the scorer's table going out of bounds.
Hit his entire hip on the scorer's table.
That too.
He is obviously going to need a second here, and I think they're going to sub him out. Actually, they're going to keep him in the game somehow.
Rub some dirt on it, kid. It's all good.
4 seconds left. Jackson's been taking some really deep threes. I like to see him get a little bit closer to the three-point arc and maybe knock down a shot.
But you know what? He hasn't been off by much. Geisy will inbound it from the near side. Gets it into Schreck. Schreck trying to dribble around. He'll hoist a shot, and that's no good for Schreck. And that is how the half will end. At the end of the first half, it's Wittenberg 30, Capital 27. Coming up, we'll have the Rusty Bucket halftime show for you here on your home for Capital Men's Basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Great food at low price. Be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, go Cap.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332. Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Ed, what is that bizarre contraption?
It's my latest Jimmy John's online ordering enhancement, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir. You know our popular Jimmy John's online ordering service?
Yes, click, order, eat.
This is the perfect time-saving companion.
How perfect, Ed?
Presenting the Jimmy John's F4000 three-dimensional sandwich printer.
Oh, boy.
See, we put one of these babies in the home of every Jimmy John's customer.
Uh-huh.
They order the sandwich online.
Uh-huh.
And we send a signal to the F4000 to make their sandwich.
Ed, how much does one of these babies cost?
With the quantity discount, $50,000, sir.
And how long does it take to print a sandwich?
About 8 hours, sir.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
So back to the drawing board?
No, stay away from the drawing board, Ed.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Planks Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Planks Cafe and Pizzeria? Planks is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University for those driven to do more.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan, right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan, right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap.
Jimmy John's, world's greatest gourmet sandwiches, Ed speaking.
Yes, I need a sandwich delivery right away.
What kind of sandwich?
I don't care. Just get it to 215 Elm Street right now.
I'm on my way!
Jimmy John's. Thanks for getting here so fast.
You're welcome, sir. Here's your sandwich. By the way, did you know your house is on fire?
That's why I called Jimmy John's.
Fire makes you hungry?
No, I knew you'd get here fast. Grab a bucket.
We're gonna need more than 2 guys, sir.
You're right. What'll we do?
Leave it to me, sir. Hello, boss. Send everyone you got to 215 Elm. Doesn't matter what kind of sandwich, sir. I'll explain later. Thank you, sir.
Jimmy John's. Come in.
Sir, did you know your house is on fire?
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know your
yes,
house
I
is
did.
on
Grab
fire?
a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Fire department.
Come in.
Sir, did you know you...
It's okay, Captain. We got it handled. Care for a sandwich?
Thanks, but tell me something.
Shoot.
Why didn't you call the fire department first?
I did.
This is a message for all those...
Welcome into the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show alongside Jimmy Bloomfield. I'm Charlie Danis. Let's now go ahead, and before we get to the stats, give you a scoreboard update courtesy of Jersey Mike Subs and Sandwiches. First, a look around the OAC, and hey, earlier tonight, big win for the Otterbein Cardinals as they defeat Ohio Wesleyan 72-66 as part of the NCAC OAC Challenge. Meanwhile, John Carroll, well, they have been up against it for most of the night. They end up losing to Hope by a final of 85-72. Hope, one of the traditional powerhouses up there in Michigan. So not surprising that John Carroll falls to them tonight. Those were the only 2 games other than this one here tonight at the Capitol Center involving teams from the OAC. Meanwhile, some scores involving some top 25 teams from the Division I level. 4:18 left to play in the second half. Number 2, Villanova, well on its way to a win over Penn. 73-51 is your score in favor of the defending national champions. Number 17, Wisconsin, leading number 22, Syracuse, 58-47. With 11:26 left to play in the second half, those 2 teams hooking up in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. They're at the half at number 4, Kansas. The Jayhawks leading Long Beach State 48-25. They're also at the half at Valparaiso. Valpo leading number 21 Rhode Island in that one, 31-30. 15-16 remain in the first half. At number 10 Creighton, the Blue Jays leading Buffalo 8-6 in that one. A final from earlier today, number 7 Xavier all over North Dakota State 85-55. And then coming up later on tonight at 9:30, a pair of great coaches in Tom Izzo and Mike Krzyzewski as number 5 Duke plays host to unranked Michigan State.
And Michigan State every year, it's brutal non-conference schedule. I think then they played Kansas earlier this year too.
Tom Izzo actually apologized to his team earlier this year, saying, "Fellas, I'm sorry about this. A really, really tough schedule." This is one of the few times where you can actually say that Michigan State is going through a rebuilding year because they lost so much from last year.
It always kind of sets up for them though, because they kind of stumble out the gates playing the top 5 teams, and then sure enough, come March, they're ready to go. And even when I think they were a 7 seed a couple years back when they made the Final Four, so don't count them out yet.
By the way, Tom Izzo and Mike Krzyzewski, you would have a very, very hard time thinking of 2 better coaches in Division I men's basketball. Let's now take a look at the halftime stats brought to you by Planks Cafe. Wittenberg leading Capital 30-27 at the half. Let's start with the stats for Wittenberg. Leading scorer for the Tigers was Cody Philippi, who had 8 points on 3 of 8 shooting, 2 of 4 from the three-point line, 7 points for Chad Roy, 3 points for Landon Horman, 4 points for Shane Edwards, 3 points each for Jordan Pomeroy and Jalen Williams, and 2 points each for Connor Seipel. The Tigers as a team shot 42.9% from the field, 5 of 10 from beyond the arc, good for 50%, and they only went to the free throw line once in that first half, and they were perfect on that shot as well, so a good 100% for the Tigers so far at the charity stripe. Meanwhile, Capital, leading scorer for the Crusaders, is Austin Schreck. He had 8 points in that first half, 2 of 4 from the field, a perfect 4 of 4 from the foul line. 2 points for Nate Boone, 2 points for Joey Weingartner, 5 points for Tyrell Jackson, 6 points for Ganayu Yahaya, with 4 of those points coming on spectacular slam dunks off of lob passes, and 4 points for Kurt Geisey. As a team, Capital shot 35.7% from the field. Only 1 of 10 from three-point range for Capital, good for 10%, and a perfect 6 of 6 from the foul line for the Crusaders, good for 100%, obviously. In terms of other statistics, Capital, 6 assists as opposed to only 4 for the Tigers. 7 turnovers for Wittenberg as opposed to only 3 for Capital. 5 blocks for Capital in this game, only 1 for Wittenberg. And 5 steals for Capital, only 1 steal for Wittenberg. Jimmy, what do you take away from the first half?
I got a couple things highlighted here on my sheet. The first one is the fact that both teams have shot, not too great. Wittenberg at 42%, Capital at 35%, but they've taken the same amount of shots, 28 each. And the difference being the outside shooting. Wittenberg at 5 of 10 from outside, Capital at 1 of 10. They've taken some poor three-point shots in terms of their selection, I think, but some of them have just not gone in for them. Wittenberg seems to be hitting everything from outside, and this is not Wittenberg's style of play. They're not a team that's going to come out here and shoot a whole lot of threes, especially at a 50% clip. This season, as I mentioned a few times already, they're 18 for 51. That's about 6 three-pointers made a game, 6 for 17 or so. So they're a little bit ahead of what they normally shoot at. And then in terms of an efficiency standpoint, they're miles ahead of what they usually shoot at. They're not going to shoot 50% from three-pointers. If they do, they're going to win this game, Charlie. So that's probably one of the big takeaways from the half is got to find a way to stop this outside shooting, and maybe it just comes down to just playing better defense from outside. And I think a lot of it is, too, that they're switching from a man-to-man to a 2-3 zone, and we've seen a good amount of zone, and that's going to allow outside shots and offensive rebounding. I don't like the move to the zone. I understand that Coach Goodman wants to play his style against whoever they're playing, but from a certain matchup standpoint, I think at this point you've got to go man-to-man and just help down low on Roy. The biggest factor is that Roy is getting these offensive rebounds, and Roy has already got 2 of his 3 rebounds have been offensive, and outside shooting is going in right now. So you have to make a better move to face up with your defense and play man-to-man and prevent this outside shooting from occurring. The last thing I had highlighted was the free throws. Like you mentioned, Wittenberg has 1 free throw. That's it. So, Wittenberg needs to get to the free throw line if they want to have any chance of staying in this game, because I don't think they're going to keep shooting like this from outside. So I think for Capital, they're losing right now, but the way the numbers stand out, I don't think we're going to see a similar 20 minutes as we did in the first half. And if that's the case, Capital makes a few more shots than they did, and they defend the perimeter a little better, they should be just fine.
Your halftime hero is?
I'm going to give it to Yahoo. I don't really care what the statistics say. That was so awesome. And especially on a night where there's so many people here, that's very big that they have some kind of excitement like that. You obviously want to keep fans coming back to games after this one. And I think Yahoo himself is going to get some people to come to these games. He's now dunked 3 times already. I don't even know how many dunks we had as a team last year here at the Cap Center. I don't even recall one. I remember Jackson Blue had a big dunk. And I don't know if that was even last year or 2 years ago.
Who was the player for Mount Union?
There was Edwards, I believe, was his name. And we had Jackson Blue from Ohio Northern a couple of years ago. He actually works with one of my friends now. I was talking to him about it over the phone, actually, which is kind of just a small world kind of story. But anyway, we haven't really seen anybody on Capitol with that kind of dunking potential that we've seen from Yahoo, and it's going to be a fun year, and we'll see what he's got for us in the second half.
That one thing's for sure, that young man has a very high ceiling, and I'm sure Damon Goodman is glad to have that guy on his team.
He was mad at him for the mental error of stepping off from the out of bounds.
You're going to get that from freshmen.
Yeah.
But trust me, the athletic trade-off with this kid is immeasurable.
I think he's a little bit happier now after the back-to-back alley-oops.
When we come back, we'll have the second half here at the Capitol Center at the half. Right now, it's Wittenberg 30, Capital 27. You're listening to men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
Welcome back here to the Capitol Center as we get set for second half action between Capitol and Wittenberg. Alongside Jimmy Bloomfield, I'm Charlie Danis. And before we get the second half started, just wanted to say, Jimmy, you and I are former Buckeyes, and obviously the situation at Ohio State yesterday was very, very scary from all accounts. Nobody killed, nobody seriously hurt. Just glad that everybody turned out to be A-OK. I heard the news about that situation driving back from Dayton over the Thanksgiving holiday. Very scary to begin with, but just glad that our school was able to handle it properly, and life can go on.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, I've walked by those buildings pretty much every day when I went to class. So, I mean, it's a scary situation and some scary people out there, and luckily nothing happened, like you said. So, heavy hearts still here in the area. It's always kind of an interesting idea when you get affected like that.
Back to our game now. Second half just underway. Three-pointer on the way, and that's no good for Philippi. Rebound collected by Capitol. Austin Schreck pushing it. Joey for three. That is good. Good start for Capitol offensively. They were only 1 of 10 from three-point range in the first half.
And Joey was 1 of 5, 0 for 3 from outside in the first half himself, and they really need to get him going. We talked about in the pregame, Charlie. We need him in double figures tonight.
Thought about a three-pointer, did Horman. Now he drives on in, and a charge is going to be called against Horman.
Man, the late whistle, I guess, is his specialty. We got one back after the illegal screen back in the first half that I wasn't happy about. That was pretty blatant.
Yeah, Matt Croce, the head coach for Wittenberg, wasn't exactly happy about that call either. Croce, former head coach at Kenyon.
I don't know if you saw me get out of my chair too, Charlie, but looked like a pretty blatant charge.
Weingartner to Schreck. Schreck dribbling on in,
oh, yeah.
And that is a blocking foul. Count the bucket and a foul.
I don't know about that one, Charlie.
Well,
I guess he got there late, but.
Well, Jimmy, what's the old saying? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good.
Yeah, I thought that was coming right back the other way. We'll take it.
Tied at 30. No, actually, a 32-30 lead for Capitol, excuse me.
Schreck's got 10 already.
And he'll stay at 10 after the missed free throw. But the tip goes back to Capitol. Tyrell thought about a three. Now back out to Schreck. Now over to Boone. Boone will let loose a three. And Nate will not be able to knock it down as the rebound is taken by Chad Roy. So the big man can shoot threes. Interesting.
Oh.
File that away.
He's 2 for 5 on the season entering today, so he'll take his chances.
Edwards driving in. And another late whistle as the foul will be called against Capitol. Driving on in there for Wittenberg. Was that Gallimore?
I'm not sure who got the shot attempt off, actually. I think it was Philippi. Nope. See who goes to the line. No one wants the free throws.
Shane Edwards will finally go.
There
Yeah, he'll step up.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson kind of landed on him, and that's what drew the contact. And I don't really think that's a foul because Edwards made collision with the basket and on the padding, went to the ground, and then Jackson landed on him after blocking the shot, and that's what drew the whistle. I don't know.
Second free throw upcoming here for Shane Edwards, senior out of Perrysburg, Ohio. Second free throw is missed, and Schreck comes away with the rebound. Always like that part of Schreck's game. Not only can he slash on in there for Capitol, but he can also grab some crucial rebounds from that guard spot. Jackson, meanwhile, on the left wing, driving on in for Capitol. Off the glass, no good for Tyrell. That was a little strong. Ball might have caught the back line, but none of the referees caught it. So Wittenberg coming right back at. Blown layup. Roy with the offensive putback.
Good job by Boone of contesting that layup, like you said. Blew the layup there, and Jamison got lazy on the boards. And another offensive rebound for Roy and another easy putback.
Wittenberg 33, Capital 32. 18 minutes left to play in the second half. Schreck, top of the arc. Will go inside the booth. Or Boone, excuse me. Now back out to Schreck. Schreck trying to move, dribbles on in, and a slam by Tyler Jamison. So Yahaya's not the only one who can go airborne. Nice find by Schreck, and I don't know about that call, as Weingartner, I think, is going to be hit with a foul.
Oh, wow, I thought they were going to give it to Boone for his arm coming in and making contact. Someone got his wrist, and someone got the ball. And they give it to Weingartner there. But going back to that last offensive possession, finding Jamison down low, Wittenberg's zone kind of all sucked up to the free throw line there. They had 5 bodies right there, and it's a good find from Schreck with the bounce pass. Not a lot of people use that bounce pass anymore, and it's a very lethal pass, especially on those entry passes.
I tell you what, I continue to be more and more impressed by Tyler Jamison as the second free throw is missed and Boone comes away with the rebound. He just kind of has that knack at being under the basket, right place at the right time, whether it be offensively or defensively, and he's only a freshman. Again, another guy with a high ceiling. Jamison will go up and caught the lob, but he wasn't able to finish the layup. It'll go out of bounds, and it will be Wittenberg ball.
I don't know about you, Charlie, but I feel like the first 20 minutes and 3 minutes here in the second half, Capital is the better team. They're just not playing up to their level that they can be playing at it. And if they get to that level here in the last 17 minutes, they should pull away, but they're struggling to get there, and that's the issue. Wittenberg, you let them hang around, they're a good enough team to win this game.
Gallimore back out to Edwards, trying to get it inside to Roy. Edwards will dribble on in, kick out Philippi for 3. That's no good. And the offensive putback, meanwhile, is good for Jalen Williams as he raced in.
That kind of illustrates the point right there. Just no one's there for the rebound, and no one was there to box out the shooter after he shot it either.
And Weingartner loses it. They feed it ahead to Philippi. Philippi dribbling around, back out to Gallimore. Gallimore thought about a 3, but instead they go inside to Roy. Back out to Williams. Williams driving on in, into Roy. Roy had his shot, I thought initially blocked, but now they get Nate Boone on the foul.
They need a timeout, I think, Charlie. They're getting on all kinds of just disorganized defense right now, and they're just not playing clean offensive possessions. And the fact that this is a 2-point game right now just kind of shows you how good this team can be. They're not playing good basketball right now, and they need to turn it on.
Roy misses his first free throw attempt. Kurt Geisey and Ganayu Yahaya check back in for Capital. I'd say, we're only a couple of games into the season, but Geisey and Yahaya are clearly the 2 best options for Capital coming off the bench so far. Roy, second free throw. That's no good. The rebound's taken by Weingartner. Capital trailing Wittenberg 36-34.
Let's get a good offensive possession here. Eat up some clock and get a good shot.
16:23 remain in the second half. Geisey to Jackson on the left wing. And Jackson was fouled on the play by Shane Edwards.
Seen a lot more fouls.
That will be the 3rd foul on Wittenberg, already 3 for Capital here. It was a relatively quiet first half in terms of fouls. Capital had more than Wittenberg. So now things all starting to balance out. Yahaya with a jumper, that's no good. G clearly needs to work on that jumper, but that will come in due time. Williams racing ahead, gets it inside. Now a loose ball, but another foul called on Capital.
I don't have as big of a problem with the jumper, or just not a very good one. I don't like the shot selection to begin with. That's not a good shot that G should be taking anyway. And now it just seems like Roy is just getting to the free throw line at will, and he's a guy that's been playing 20 minutes a night because of his foul trouble, and tonight he has just 1 foul, but has already gone to the free throw line now 3 times.
First free throw is good. Roy, let's see here, I believe coming off of a very good free throw performance.
7 for 12 on the year, but it's not
that's
not a very big sample.
But so far so good for the big man. I don't know why, but guards tend to shoot free throws better than big men for whatever reason. As Roy misses the second free throw, and now another foul will go against Capital, this time against Yahaya.
That's his 3rd, too. I don't know. I mean, the ball was out of bounds, obviously. I don't really think that was a necessary foul call, but the officials have been much more whistle happy here in this half, and timeout called by coach, and I think it's a good time going.
Let's step aside as well. 16:03 remain in the second half. It is Wittenberg 37, Capital 34 here on the Capital Sports Network.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332. Army ROTC.
Welcome back to the Capitol Center. 16:03 remaining in the second half. Wittenberg 37, Capital 34. This is men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. Philippi will finally get it in for Wittenberg. They go inside immediately to Seipel, who checked in for Roy. Seipel dribbling around, 20 on the shot clock. Now it's over to Philippi on the right wing. Philippi will dribble on in, out of bounds, and it'll be Capital ball.
Good pass. Seipel wasn't ready for it. Really inventive pass to get that through two defenders, and no one touched it from any side.
15:45 remaining in the second half. Capital still down by 3 against Wittenberg. 37-34, the Tiger lead. Geisy, cross half court, barking out instructions at the top of the arc. To Joey, to Tyrell on the left wing. Tyrell bounces it over to Kurt. And now a foul will be called against Capital.
Where?
Must have been an illegal moving screen.
They called it on Geisy, I think, because he's the one talking to the official.
Damon Goodwin exchanging some words with one of our officials tonight. I've seen his hands on his head a lot. That's usually not a good sign.
No, 6 fouls already now, too. If they foul one more time, Wittenberg's at the free throw line.
Wittenberg 37, Capital 34. 15-15 remaining in the second half. They get it over to Philippi, who's been hot from three-point range. Philippi, nice crossover dribble, dribbles on in, inside pass. Seipel will have his shot rejected. I think that was Yahaya with the rejection.
Yeah, it might have been Jamison. I'm not sure who got a piece of it either, but Jamison is the big body down low, and he's not letting anything get past him.
6 seconds remain on the shot clock. Schreck will now check in for Capital, taking the place of Tyrell Jackson on the floor.
It's important to note those 6 seconds, too. We'll see how aware of it Wittenberg is.
Philippi gets it in. And a shot off the glass, still loose, and a made shot this time, as the putback is good for Jordan Pomeroy. 5'11", freshman, somehow, someway got it to go for Wittenberg.
And that one's not on Jamison. He altered that first layup, and then no one else from Capital stepped up to fill that spot down low. That's why we're going to see Boone come in. They need the extra rebounder because Yahawa's at the 4 right now.
Wittenberg 39, Capital 34, 14:35 remaining in the second half. Schreck, now to Geisy for 3. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Wittenberg. Here comes Wittenberg down the other end, and now a foul is going to be called, and let's see here. It'll go against Capital.
Yeah, they call Schreck, even though Williams just put his head down and ran right through him. Still a block. In the letter of the law, it is a block.
So now Jalen Williams will head to the free throw line for Wittenberg. Boy, I'm sounding like a broken record
Yeah,
at this point. Foul on Capital, Wittenberg going to the foul
I was
line.
just going to say, they had 1 free throw the entire half, and now they're already at 9. They've shot 8 free throws here in the second half, and that's been a trend too, Charlie. They're 4 for 10 now at the free throw line, not taking advantage of it.
Williams misses the free throw. Wittenberg 39, Capital 34, 14:15 remaining in the second half. Jamison bounce pass inside to Boone, who finishes at the rim.
Here we go. Let's keep that going right now.
Wittenberg 39, Capital 36, 14:05 left to play in regulation. Pomeroy, the freshman, bounces it over to Philippi. Philippi now over to Edwards. Edwards will go inside, and a nice touch pass on the inside. Shot missed by Seipel, and Capital comes up with a loose ball. Schreck ahead. He'll glide on in, and he'll be fouled, so now he'll head to the free throw line.
And something lost in that transition there is Jamison boxing out down low as Schreck was coming to make that layup. That was the reason Seipel was there late, why he had to foul.
4th foul on Wittenberg. The foul will go against Connor Seipel, the freshman from Columbus.
I think it's time to get out of this zone, too. I mean, Seipel missed the layup, but that was about as easy of a layup as you're going to get. And it's because they're going right at that soft spot of the zone in the free throw line and then making the high post to low post pass. And with Roy back in the game for Seipel, they need to get out of the zone and just focus on double-teaming Roy.
Meanwhile, Schreck continues his fine shooting night at the foul line, making his first foul shot. Second foul shot, no good. Shoot, I jinxed him.
He's got 11 points still, though.
Wittenberg 39, Capital 37. 13:40 remaining in the second half. Pumroy passes it off to Shane Edwards. Edwards on the right wing, working against Geisy. Bounced over to Pumroy. Pumroy now over to Philippi. Student section starting to make some noise. Jumper on the way. That's no good for Miller, And now Weingartner over to Schreck, but it's over everybody's head, out of bounds. It'll be a turnover for Capital.
Excellent job by Weingartner crashing the boards there because of, again, a long rebound off of these shots that they're taking in the 2-3 zone. That's usually an offensive rebound, but then Weingartner throws it right away.
13:15 remain in regulation. Wittenberg still holding a 39-37 lead over Capital. It's been a low-scoring affair between both these squads here at the Capital Center. Pumroy bouncing it all the way over to Jalen Williams. Williams on the right wing. Williams being guarded by Geisy. He'll bounce it now on in, and a nice bounce pass inside. Missed layup once again by Shane Edwards, and Capital comes away with a rebound. Now over to Schreck. Schreck outside. Joey for three. That's good for Weingartner.
That's his spot, too. That's the same one he made earlier. It's up to 8 points again, and he's starting to get going. 1 point game all of a sudden.
More importantly, Capital regains the lead, 40-39. 12:35 remain in the second half. Pomeroy bouncing it over to Cody Philippi. Philippi dribbling around. He'll now bounce it on over to Shane Edwards. Jumper on the inside. That's no good, but the offensive rebound is taken by Jalen Williams, and now a bucket for Wittenberg.
Get out of the zone. Another offensive rebound. That stops the 6-0 run.
Wittenberg 42, Capital 40. 12:08 left to play in the second half. Geisy nearly has his pocket pick, but still keeps possession. Now it's to Schreck. Schreck driving on in, off the glass, and no good. Tip ball, and it's recovered by Wittenberg's Cody Philippi. He'll now bounce it on over to Edwards. Edwards in the corner now for three. That's no good, and the rebound taken by Jamison off the miss by Pumroy. Now it's Geisy. Geisy, he's trying to drive on in. Wild shot, and late call right there as they call a blocking foul against Wittenberg.
I mean, it's been bad, but it's been bad both ways. So as much as you want to complain about the officials, don't put yourself in a position for them to decide the game anyway. And there's been bad and good calls both ways. At this point, Capital just needs to make shots, and Wittenberg needs to play better defense, I think.
Geisy, first free throw is good.
Yeah, Capital's getting good looks. I mean, that's been the story all night, Charlie. They've been getting high-quality looks. They're just not making them, and eventually they got to go down for them. As Yahawa and looks like Jackson came back in there on the timeout.
Gallimore, Landon Horman also check in for Wittenberg, and now play will be whistled dead here.
He was tying his shoe. Yahawa was.
Looks like Chad Roy's also back in there for Wittenberg. Kurt Geisy, one of the veterans on this squad. Senior out of Delphus, Ohio. And the second free throw is good for Kurt. Now he'll check out. Coming in will be Dan Auble, freshman out of Brecksville, Ohio. We're tied at 42 between Wittenberg and Capital. 11:43 left to play in regulation. It's been a low-scoring affair, but it's been a close affair throughout. I think the largest lead for either team has been 3, right?
5, actually, for both sides.
So bringing the ball across the court now is Jordan Pumroy. Is swung around to Gallimore. Gallimore on the left wing. He'll dribble to his right. Inside. Back outside. Horman will go baseline. Drives on in. Misses the shot, but a late whistle once again.
So late on that. I mean, the play had already got going.
You see, here's where I stand on it. To me, it looks like the correct call. But these whistles are coming clearly 1, 2, 3 seconds after the call should be made.
It's almost as if as the first free throw goes in, and you see this with refs from time to time. They are waiting to see if the basket goes in, and then if it doesn't go in, they'll call the foul. It shouldn't be that way. The foul should be independent of the result of the basket.
Second free throw on the way for Horman, and it's good.
But again, it's been bad both ways, though. So I mean, there's really no point in complaining about it because it's affecting both teams negatively, I would say.
Auble to Jackson. Jackson to Yahaya. G will dribble on in, but back out to Abel now. Abel putting up the right hand, saying, let's slow things down a little bit here in the half court. 13 on the shot clock. G with the ball. G will feed it on into Jamison. Jamison nearly loses it. Now it's back out to Abel. 6 on the shot clock. Jackson, he'll dribble on in. He'll drive in, and he'll have his shot rejected. Loose ball collected by Chad Roy.
That was an easy layup. Jamison was not expecting the ball, though.
Gallimore pulls up for a jumper and knocks it down.
That's his first points of the night, Charlie. He's averaging 18 in a game. And that was his first bucket.
Pretty amazing, if you ask me. Dan Abel, meanwhile, handling the ball for Capital, who now trails Wittenberg 46-42. 10:28 left to play in the second half. And right now, Capital shooting 37.5% from the field. Jackson for 3. Tyrell knocks it down. Nothing but nylon on that shot.
Back to a one-point game. The three-pointers starting to even out now as Wittenberg's 1 for 4 in the second half.
10-11 remain in the second half. It's Wittenberg 46, Capital 45. Pumroy dribbling around, drives in, wild shot, missed. Jamison, rebound for Capital. Now it's pushed ahead to G. G will not make the layup. He missed it with the left hand. He hurried the shot.
He got too deep under the basket there.
Now they'll go inside to Horman. Horman trying to back Jamison down. Horman gets fouled on his way to the bucket by Jamison.
Lazy defense from Jamison there. He was in position, and then Weingartner actually comes in and gets the foul behind the play.
And it looks like Nate Boone will be checking in for Jamison rather shortly, as Boone will go near the scorer's table.
Haven't seen a lot of Mitchell. We saw a little bit of him in the first, but I think they need to get him some more minutes too. They need the size down low with the way Wittenberg's been rolling out their lineups.
Landon Horman making the first free throw. Nate Boone will, well, I thought he was checking in.
Timeout called.
Okay, timeout by both teams. We'll take a timeout as well. 9:46 remain in the second half. It's Wittenberg 47, Capital 45. This is Capital Men's Basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
Is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Ed, what is that bizarre contraption?
It's my latest Jimmy John's online ordering enhancement, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir. You know our popular Jimmy John's online ordering service?
Yes, click, order, eat.
This is the perfect time-saving companion.
How perfect, Ed?
Presenting the Jimmy John's F4000 three-dimensional sandwich printer.
Oh boy.
See, we put one of these babies in the home of every Jimmy John's customer.
9:46 remain in the second half. It is Wittenberg leading Capital 47-45. Alongside Jimmy Bloomfield, I'm Charlie Dennis. Boy, Jimmy, low-scoring affair. Both teams have blown a lot of shots near the rim.
Yeah, and just not really efficient on either side. Both teams literally at 38% right now, which is not a good total for either side. And the three-point shooting for Wittenberg had been keeping them in this game. They're still leading, but, man, just poor shooting on both sides. And whatever team snaps out of it first, it's going to run away with this game, I think.
Landon Horman still at the free throw line for Wittenberg. He made his first foul shot.
Yeah, weird kind of ice the kicker free throw timeout.
Horman still waiting for the ball, and now there's an issue at the scoreboard table.
I think they're checking on the fouls. I'm not sure. As Coach Gillen keeps pointing up at the scoreboard over here on this side of the court. While we have a minute, did you see, I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, there was a guy, I think he was on the Packers linebacker's father, Joe Thomas Sr.
Yep.
And he was 55 years old, but he played in the South Carolina State game, so it was his senior day. He had been like a practice squad player for them and got approval from the NCAA, cleared to play, and he got a carry for 3 yards or something like that. And a 55-year-old man playing college football at D1. It was kind of a cool story.
It's never too late to achieve your dreams.
Yeah, we still got our eligibility too, so maybe get a graduate degree somewhere.
Hey, you take your chances. I know I can't run, so.
I don't want to play football, but maybe if I take some BP, get on the baseball field once or twice.
Landon Horman knocks down his second free throw. I'll go on a basketball court, and if I hit my first shot, I'll retire right there. Retire while I'm still on top. Capital trailing Wittenberg 48-45, 9:35 remaining in the second half. Dan Auble running the point for Capital at this moment in time. Now on the left wing is Tyrell Jackson. Jackson will dribble in, back out to Jamison. That jumper, no good. And another foul is going to go against Capital as Boone pushed off on Horman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Not a whole lot of contact there. It was a very poor-looking shot from Jamison as well. Very flat out of his hands.
Yeah, to borrow a political term, the referees are being very liberal with their whistles here in the second half. So now Geisy and Schreck will check in. Auble and Weingartner will check out. Boy, it's been a rough night for Joey Weingartner, who really hasn't.
Yeah,
he's had a quiet 8 points.
Had a couple of three-pointers, and that's about it. The layup he got was off of a steal, too.
Free throw, no good.
Man,
rebound taken by Boone.
8 of 15 at the free throw line. If they make their free throws, this game might be over already.
Schreck to Geisy. But instead, this game is still up for grabs here at the Capitol Center. Jackson. He's being guarded by Michael Morgan Jr. Now over to Schreck, inside to Boone. 10 on the shot clock. Geisy on the right wing. Pulls up for a jumper. That's no good, but Jackson's right there for it. No, he missed the tip-in. And Michael Morgan Jr. comes away with a rebound for Wittenberg. Boy, the tough night continues for Tyrell Jackson, and all he can do is smile as he goes back down on the other end. Three-pointer on the way. That's no good. Loose ball out of bounds, and it'll be Capital ball.
Should have been another offensive rebound there, but Horman couldn't handle it. Both teams just been really sloppy. That's the best way to describe this game. And the final score of that Otterbein game with Wittenberg was 56-49, and I mean, both teams in the mid to high 40s right now. It's going to be one of those games where 60 might be enough.
In other words, it looks like an early season basketball game between two teams that are trying to find their footing. Schreck twisting and turning, and he gets the bucket to go. Wow.
Good footwork, super undersized down low, and Schreck's about the only guy that's been playing really good all night. He's got 13 points for him, 5 rebounds, playing tough on D as well.
Michael Morgan Jr. in the corner. They leave him wide open for 3. That's no good, and a push-off as the foul's going to be going against Wittenberg. They give the foul to Landon Horman.
They're just letting Morgan Jr. take that shot. It's the second possession in a row. He had a wide open 3 in the corner, and Jackson pretty much daring him to take it, and Morgan goes back to the bench now.
Morgan Jr., former Bishop Hartley product here in the Columbus area. So now Geisy will inbound it for Capital. Gets it into Tyrell Jackson. 8:05 left to play in regulation. It is Wittenberg 48, Capital 47. This game already had a late tip-off around 8 o'clock. Geisy on the left wing. Could we be seeing more basketball here at the Capitol Center? We shall see.
Oh, man.
Schreck to Jackson. I know. Jackson, top of the arc. Now to Schreck. Schreck loses the ball. Jamison gets it back for Capital. 3 on the shot clock. Jackson, he's going to have to shoot it, and he puts it up at the last moment, but it never – no, but was there a foul?
Foul, yeah. He definitely got it off in time. When I heard that whistle, I was a little nervous myself, but they're going to get the foul. Looks like on Roy, I believe.
Yep, it's going to go against Chad Roy, the junior out of Toledo.
It's his third. Starting to get into those foul troubles again.
Yep. Something that you have to keep an eye on here during this late stretch of the game. Jackson knocks down his first free throw. Tied at 48.
Going right back at him next possession, too. If they're going to keep him out there with 3 fouls, you got to make him pay for it.
Jackson's second free throw. That's no good. 9 points for Tyrell Jackson. We're tied at 48. 7.5 to play here in the second half. Shane Edwards. Edwards to Roy. Roy has a shot blocked by Jamison. Gets the ball back, but Roy is able to put it back up again.
It's 12 and 8 for him already.
Boy, I tell you what, Jamison, man, for a freshman, he is giving optimal effort tonight.
And he's got 9 rebounds, too. He's been destroying it on the defensive side of the ball, but he just hasn't given them much on offense, and Roy's got 12 and 8. They're starting to win that battle a little bit more as this game goes on.
Wittenberg 50, Capital 48. Schreck, meanwhile, converts another basket at the hoop.
Shane Edwards is being abused right now defensively. That's the second time down low. He's gone for those pump fakes and just using that footwork, pivoting around it, getting an easy bucket.
6:42 left to play in regulation. Tied at 50 between Wittenberg and Capital. Three-pointer lined up, and that is no good for Jalen Williams, but Wittenberg with an offensive rebound as Philippi comes away with it for the Tigers.
14 offensive rebounds, and they're leading now 38-29 on the boards, Charlie.
Philippi back outside to Edwards. Edwards now to Roy. Roy, jumper is good.
Man, if he's going to make that shot, that's tough to defend. You want him out away from the basket, and then he makes that shot with a hand in his face. Got to just tip your hat sometimes.
Wittenberg 52, Capital 50, 6:05 left to play in regulation. Jackson, another deep three. Tyrell swishes it through. Capital back up by 1. Capital 53, Wittenberg 52. 5:52 remaining in regulation. Cody Philippi driving, and Philippi, I thought Jamison had another block right there, but instead he'll be called for a foul, and Philippi will go to the free throw line.
It's also Jamison's third. Seipel's been sitting by the scorer's table. He might be coming in for Roy here, which would definitely slow down Wittenberg's offense.
Seipel's still pretty tall at 6'6", but still 4 inches shorter than Roy.
He's just not got the skill set either that Roy does.
Ball bounces in for Cody Philippi on his first free throw attempt. Coming back in, let's see here. Jamison will check out, and Yahaya will come back in for Capital.
And that's not supposed to be a slight to Seipel at all. Roy is one of the best players, probably the best all-around player in this game for either side.
Second free throw good for Philippi. Wittenberg back up by 1, 54-53 with 5:43 left to play in the second half. Geisy, cross half court. Kurt still going over his options. Passes off to Schreck, now back to Geisy. 17 on the shot clock. Geisy splits the defender. Jackson wide open for 3. Tyrell not able to get it, and the putback is no good as well. I saw Yahaya, I saw Schreck get his hands on it, but Capital not able to convert the bucket.
Yeah, and I saw Jackson spotting up, and he had just made that shot. But, man, if he took another step or two closer to the bucket, it's still a three-pointer, and he probably knocks that shot down.
Edwards back out to Gallimore, 9 on the shot clock. Gallimore now over to Jalen Williams. Williams twisting, turning, jumper, no good. Rebound taken by Geisy.
Lots of happy feet there. He got away with a walk.
Geisy driving in. Back out. G for 3. That's good for G. 56-54. Capital up by 2. I guess he does have a jumper.
Yeah, there it is, Charlie.
Cody Philippi on the right wing for Wittenberg, who trails by 2. 4.5 to play in regulation. What a game we've had so far. Edwards now to Williams. Williams driving on in. Williams misses a shot. Loose ball, but the offensive rebound taken by Seipel. Now another drive in. And the bucket this time is good for Wittenberg. Tied at 56. Timeout here at the Capitol Center. Boy, things getting real testy here in Bexley. 4:18 left to play in the second half. Tied at 56 between Wittenberg and Capital. This is men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Planks Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Planks Cafe and Pizzeria? Planks is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
Welcome back to the Capitol Center. 4:18 remaining in the second half. We're all tied at 56 between Wittenberg and Capital. Mr. Bloomfield, we have been treated to a good game here so far.
Hey, you remember when Capital was 1 for 10 from 3? Well, they're 6 for 18 now, 5 of 8 from outside in the second half, and a lot of those have been coming here in the last few minutes. Yahaya with the last one. This has been a fun game. Like you said, teams are starting to make the shots now, and we're going to have a nice little 4-minute bloodbath, see who comes out on top.
Schreck to Geisy on the left wing. 16 on the shot clock. Geisy the senior. Now to the freshman, G. Yahaya. Yahaya dribbling on in. Still trying to find some room now inside of Jamison. Jamison with a post-up move. Back to G. G in the corner. G not able to knock it down. Tipped out to the perimeter. And an offensive rebound for Capital. Shrek will now calm things down. 3:40 left to play in regulation. Still tied at 56. G. Yahaya. Now over to Shrek. Now to Jackson. Jackson dribbles in. Jumper. No good. Rebound is taken by Wittenberg. Shane Edwards. So now Wittenberg on the other side. Philippi dribbling around for the Tigers. 3:20 left to play. Still tied at 56. Philippi, the senior, passes off to Shane Edwards. Edwards now back out. He was trying to get it to Philippi. I thought that went off the foot of Kurt Geisey. Gallimore now back outside. Dribble on in. Edwards with a shot to Roy. Roy, turnaround Jay, no good, and the rebound taken by Shrek.
The fact that he got that shot up to the basket there in less than a second with 2 men on him, incredible.
So now Shrek handling the ball. 2:49 remaining in regulation. We're still tied at 56. Jackson to Geisey. Geisey to Jackson. Tyrell will go over his options on the left wing. 9 on the shot clock. Shrek will now go inside the Jamison. Jamison will back Roy down. Jamison twisting, turning back out to Jackson. Jackson, deep 3. That's no good. Off the rim. Geisey digs out the offensive rebound to Jamison. Back out to Shrek. Great hustle by Kurt Geisey.
And if they can find a way to get it to G here, he's got a mismatch with Williams on him. He's been quicker than him. He's got a step or two on him. They need to find a way to get him the ball in space.
Shrek to Jamison. 13 on the shot clock. Now to Jackson. In to Shrek. Shrek shakes loose, loses out of bounds, but it will still be Capital ball as it was swatted away by Shane Edwards.
That's the 3rd or 4th time that he's beaten Edwards, too, and Edwards just enough recovery to get that thing swatted away.
8 on the shot clock. 2:05 left to play in regulation. Still tied at 56. They get it inside. Shrek not able to get the shot, and the rebound is taken by Jalen Williams. But a steal for Capital. Geisey losing it out of bounds. It will be a jump ball. And it will stay with Capital.
Not sure about the jump ball call, but we get the ball, so that's all right.
Minute 58 left to play in regulation. We are still tied at 56. Jackson will inbound it from the baseline. Gets it into the G. G will bounce it over to Jamison. Now to Geisey. 21 on the shot clock. Now to Jackson on the right wing. Jackson dribbling to his left. Jackson now to his right. Now over to Jamison on the right block. Jamison looking to put a move on Roy, trying to back his man down. Back out to Tyrell. 8 on the shot clock. Jackson trying to make a move. Jackson trying to spin. Gets it over to Jamison. Jamison jumper. Gets it to go.
Too much standing around that whole sequence, and just a little 2-man game creates a look for Jamison.
Capital 58, Wittenberg 56. 1:20 remaining in regulation. G with an almost steal, and now he gets whistled for a foul.
That's his 5th.
As he was trying to poke the ball away from Jalen Williams.
He's gone, too. That's huge.
I don't fault him for trying to make a play like that, but, I mean, at the same time, with the way the whistles have been blowing tonight, you got to be a little smarter than that.
Yeah, we'll see who comes in for him now, as Coach really hasn't made a decision. We haven't seen anyone get off the bench yet.
I see Mitchell standing up.
It looks like Boone's going to be the one.
That's probably the right decision. Boone has been playing a lot tonight. We saw Mitchell check in for a brief moment in the first half, but ever since then we haven't really seen him all that much. Great effort tonight, though, by G. Yahaya. Yahaya with 9 points to go along with a rebound, 4 of 8, 1 of 2 from three-point range.
He had the 2 dunks and the three-pointer, and all 3 plays were huge in energizing the team.
First free throw, good for Williams.
There was some bad as well, but you got to take the good with the bad with someone with his athleticism.
He's only a freshman. Second free throw. That's good. Tied at 58.
3 timeouts for each side. We'll see how if they use them or not. I mean, Coach Goodwin had a good opportunity to take one there, but he's going to let his boys settle it out.
Minute 10 remaining in regulation. We're tied at 58 between Wittenberg and Capital. Nate Boone will not hand off to Jackson. Now over to Geisey. Kurt for a jumper. That's no good. Tipped up in the air. Boone battling for it. Goes to the turf. Now he's trying to grab it with his feet, and
you can't do that. So the referee called it. Like you said, Charlie, he trapped it with his ankles, and You are not allowed to do that. So that's what the turnover is there.
Well, there you go. 58 seconds and counting. Still tied at 58. Wittenberg will call a timeout. Let's keep things right here at the Cap Center. 55.1 seconds remain in regulation. Tied at 58 between Capital and Wittenberg. Charlie Davis and Jimmy Bloomfield bringing you the action tonight from the Capital Center. This is the second game of a doubleheader as part of the NCAC OAC Challenge. Earlier tonight, it was Otterbein knocking off Ohio Wesleyan. Right now, Wittenberg and Capital tied at 58 here. 55.1 seconds remain. Let's see here. Double-digit fouls for Capital. Only 7 for Wittenberg at this moment in time. 2 timeouts remaining for Wittenberg, 3 for Capital.
Yeah, and also, I mean, this has just been a great game for us. And talking about the NCAC OAC Challenge, if Wittenberg were to win this game, it would be a split because Wittenberg beat Otterbein, Capital beat OWU, and then Otterbein beat OWU. So if Capital gets this win, they also win the crossover. And this just shows you that this should be expanded to more teams because this has been great basketball with a great environment for both games. Both games were close games, and this has been just a really fun 4 games between these 4 teams, and hopefully we get this thing expanded and get some more quality teams as well in there and see what we can do. This has been fun.
42 seconds and counting, 13 on the shot clock. Williams lets loose a 3 and knocks it down for Wittenberg.
I was going to say let him have it, and he made it.
Wittenberg now up by 3, 31 seconds and counting. Geisy to Jackson. Jackson dribbling around. Over to Schreck. They go inside to Boone. Boone, turn around, is good for Nate. Now Capital's down by 1.
I was going to say, they don't need a 3, Charlie. They just need a basket in the baddest way, and they get it. Double bonus already, so if they foul Wittenberg, Wittenberg's going to get the 2 free throws. And with 22 seconds, you have some time to set up a trap and try to prevent them from getting across the timeline and get a turnover. If they get it across that midcourt, then you got to foul. That's pretty much how it is. Basic right here. There's nothing to even think about a 1-point game.
Well, let's reset for you here. 22 seconds remain in regulation. Wittenberg is up by 1, 61-60. Double-digit fouls for Capital, only 7 for Wittenberg. Capital now down to 2 timeouts remaining. 2 timeouts remaining for Wittenberg as well. So, I mean, Jimmy, take us through this upcoming defensive sequence. Do you see Capital pressing here a little bit in the full court?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be setting this thing up with this is where you need Yahawa. I mean, his speed out there in the court, you're going to be missing it, especially the length, too. He'd probably be guarding the inbounder. So we'll see how Coach sets this up. It looks like he's going to keep Boone in there, and I don't know if I would necessarily do that. If you do get the turnover, you could just call a timeout and get him back on the floor for the offensive sequence. But they're certainly going to be trying to get the steal, and if they get across midcourt, you're going to see them foul.
So now both teams making their way back to the court. The ball will be in the possession of Wittenberg for right now. Inbounding it for Wittenberg. To our right is Landon Horman. And it looks like Capital will be going with some sort of press defense. 22 seconds remain in regulation. Shot clock's been turned off. Horman receives the ball and will get it into Williams. Williams, double team. Now they get to Horman, and now they foul.
And they don't need to foul there. You got time to get the steal, but Horman, maybe not a good free throw shooter. He's 5 for 12 from the free throw line this year, and in today's game, he's 4 for 5, so he's done a much better job today. I just think that was very slow developing. I don't know if they were going to get the steal or not, but you might as well try for it.
7 points and 5 rebounds for Landon Horman. First shot is good.
I mean, he was 5 for 12, but it's just a small sample in 3 games. And I think it's tough to draw a conclusion from that. And now he's 5 of 6 tonight, trying to get a sub in, and I don't know if Weingartner's going to get in time.
Second free throw, good. It's a 3-point lead for Wittenberg.
Again, you don't need a 3-pointer here. You just need a basket, set up the press, and then foul. And then that time, the second possession, you'll need the 3-pointer. But for now, just get a bucket.
Geisy gets the ball. 16 seconds and counting. Wittenberg 63, Capital 60. Geisy will throw it back out. It's tipped. Weingartner now over to Schreck. 9 seconds. They get it inside to Boone. Now back out to Jackson for three. Jackson misses it. Rebound. No, it's out of bounds off of Wittenberg. Capital gets the ball back. 2.8 seconds remain. There's still hope for Capital.
That was heads up.
It went out of bounds. Gallimore was trying to save it for the Tigers in vain, but he was not able to. And Capital remains alive in this game. Barely. 2.8 seconds remain. Capital will have the ball. Down by 3. Looking to force overtime here at the Cap Center. Jimmy, what do you do here?
Well, I mean, you got a couple of good shooters here. You got Weingartner, you got Jackson. Those are your guys that you got to I would think one of those two has to take this shot. Jackson has more range, I would say, than Weingartner, but Weingartner has kind of been quiet here, and this is maybe the time to unleash him, really. He's had 2 3-pointers in the corner down here on the near side of the court. Maybe set up something for him. Looking down the three-pointer averages, I mean, Jackson is 27%, which is not very good, obviously. Guy's 4 for 9 himself, so he can knock it down too, but I don't know. I think I would just stick with either Weingartner or Jackson, and I'm leaning towards Weingartner just for the fact that he's made that shot before, and I don't think Wittenberg is going to be keen on him as much as they would Jackson.
At some point, we will have the Peking Dynasty post-game show for you. It might come in mere moments. We might have to wait a little bit longer for it. We will just have to see. But in either case, we will have it for you at some point this evening.
And Wittenberg can also foul, Charlie. They're up by 3, and a foul would send Capital to the free throw line, but you need to be careful. If you're going to foul, make sure it's not in the act of shooting. But don't be surprised if they do foul.
And now Wittenberg takes a timeout after seeing what Capital had set up offensively.
And not a lot of coaches do this, but I mean, I'm fouling. I don't even let him inbound the basketball. I'm grabbing whoever's out there that's the worst free throw shooter and make him go to the free throw line. And then Capital would have to make one, miss one, and that kind of fiasco right now. So I don't know. We'll see if Wittenberg does it, but they have the option to foul. Capital obviously just got to get a quick inbound in and let it rip.
2.8 seconds remain in regulation. It's Wittenberg leading Capital 63-60. And boy, a game that didn't have a promising offensive start for either team has turned out to be a closely contested affair here at the Capitol Center. I mean, Jimmy, we've truly been treated to a very good ball game.
Yeah, I mean, they're both shooting 38, 37%. Wittenberg's at 38, but we saw Wittenberg cool off from 3, but they got a bunch of free throws. 13 of 20 for free throws here in the second half, and Capital has just 10 free throws. They've made 77% of theirs, whereas Wittenberg's at 66.7. So the free throws kind of evened out, and even more so went towards Wittenberg, where the three-point shooting in the second half completely evened out. Capital's got 6, Wittenberg's got 7. And Capital's shooting 30% from outside, Wittenberg at 41. So Wittenberg still kind of outperformed their season average from the three-point line, and if they do hang on, it's probably the reason why they win this game, and that and the fouls in the second half.
All right, looks like we are ready to go. Geisy will inbound it from the baseline for Capital near the far side. 2.8 seconds remain in regulation. Capital needs a 3. They're down by 3. Geisy going over his options, still going over his options. To Weingartner for 3. That's no good. Off the backboard, and Wittenberg will get out of the Cap Center with a 63-60 win over Capital. A good setup there at the end, Jimmy, but Weingartner just didn't have the angle.
That was a tough pass from the high side of the court to the near side of the court. It's obviously where Weingartner likes it, but he's shooting that fading away from the basket, and like you said, kind of coming away from the basket as well, so he's kind of off balance, just throwing it up, fading away, and you can get a better shot than that, I think, and just unfortunate that that's the shot that it comes down to. They did not play up to their level of ability here tonight. 60 points will speak to that.
Coming up, we'll have the Peking Dynasty postgame show as we will wrap things up here at the Capitol Center. Capital falls to Wittenberg tonight by a final score of 63-60. You have been listening to a presentation of men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
Jimmy John's World's Greatest Gourmet Sandwiches, Ed speaking.
Yes, I need a sandwich delivery right away.
What kind of sandwich?
I don't care. Just get it to 215 Elm Street right now.
I'm on my way.
Jimmy John's. Thanks for getting here so fast.
You're welcome, sir. Here's your sandwich. By the way, did you know your house is on fire?
That's why I called Jimmy John's.
Fire makes you hungry?
No, I knew you'd get here fast. Grab a bucket.
We're gonna need more than 2 guys, sir.
You're right. What'll we do?
Leave it to me, sir. Hello, boss. Send everyone you got to 215 Elm. Doesn't matter what kind of sandwich, sir. I'll explain later. Thank you, sir.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know your house is on fire?
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know your
Yes,
house
I
is
did.
on
Grab a
fire?
bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Fire department.
Come in.
Sir, did you know your...
It's okay, Captain. We got it handled. Care for a sandwich?
Thanks, but tell me something.
Shoot.
Why didn't you call the fire department first?
I did.
Welcome into the Peking Dynasty post-game show. I'm Charlie Danis. We have a final from Bexley tonight as Capital falls to Wittenberg by a final of 63-60. Let's now get you the final stats of this game, brought to you by the CU Society of Sports Management. First for the visiting Wittenberg Tigers. The leading scorers for the Tigers end up being Chad Roy and Cody Philippi, who each have 14 points apiece in this ball game. Roy with 8 rebounds as well. Other scores for Wittenberg tonight: 2 points for Ryan Gallimore, 9 points for Landon Horman, 7 points for Shane Edwards, 5 points for Jordan Pomeroy, 10 points for Jalen Williams, and 2 points for Connor Seipel. As a team, Wittenberg shot 38.9% from the field, 41.2% from three-point range, 7 of 17 from beyond the arc, and free throws, 14 of 21 from the charity stripe, good for 66.7%. Meanwhile, for Capital, the leading scorer for the Crusaders was Austin Schreck, 15 points on 5 of 11 shooting, also went 5 of 7 from the free throw line. Tyrell Jackson had 12 points in this ball game. 6 points for Nate Boone, 4 points and 9 rebounds for Tyler Jamison, 8 points for Joey Weingartner, 9 points for G. Yahaya on 4 of 8 shooting and 1 of 2 from three-point range. And Kirk Geisey ends up totaling 6 points for the Crusaders in this one. Capital ends up shooting 36.7% from the field, only 28.6% from three-point range, 6 of 21 from beyond the arc, and 10 of 13 from the free throw line, good for 76.9%. Other statistics of note in this game: it is Wittenberg that ends up out-rebounding Capital 43-37. We'll get to more of that in just a moment. Now our post-game coach interview brought to you by the Capital ROTC, joined by head coach Damon Goodwin. Well, coach, tough loss tonight against Wittenberg, but I'm seeing your young guys out there competing. Tyler Jamison was tough on the boards, and G continues to do his thing out there.
Yeah, but we make a lot of mistakes out there. We look like a team that are playing a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, and that certainly cost us the game today. And, we have to take the good things and build on them. They got 16 offensive rebounds. You're not going to win a game when they get 16 offensive rebounds, and that's really the stat that sticks out to me.
What was your message to the team after this game?
Well, our message is the last 2 games we've had 2 losses, and we've done it to ourselves. We haven't followed the game plan. We haven't done what we've practiced. And, again, that's a sign of a young team, and we need to keep coming out and fighting and grinding and getting better at that. And, just simple things like coming off the bench, ready to know what's going on. We have a couple guys that came off the bench, had no clue what we're in, what we're doing, and that ended up costing us.
You are going to go into OAC tournament, OAC play already at Ohio Northern coming up this Saturday. What needs to happen in order to be successful against the Polar Bears?
Well, we can't give up 16 offensive rebounds, and we're going to shoot better than 28% from 3. So if we do that in any game this year, we're going to be in trouble. And we're going to work on that next few days.
All right, Coach.
Thanks
so much for joining
Thank
us. Damon Goodwin joined us here on the Peking Dynasty post-game show. Again, our post-game coach interview brought to you by the Capital ROTC. And now I'm joined back at the broadcast booth by my partner, Jimmy Bloomfield. Jimmy, we knew coming into this season it was going to be a season of growing pains for Capital. Some really, really tough losses for Capital these last couple games, dropping a road contest to Mount St. Joe's, and now a close loss here to Wittenberg. And I think Coach Goodwin hit it on the head. These last couple losses, Capital has done it to themselves. Now, granted, they played good competition, but there were just so many chances, particularly in this game where Capital could have done so many good things offensively, but they continually shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, it's hard to speak to what happened in that Mount St. Joe's game because you and I didn't have the benefit of watching it, but today I certainly agree, and I said it towards the start of the second half. Capital's a better team between these two teams, and they just didn't play well. They didn't play up to the potential that they're capable of playing, and Coach obviously frustrated, and he should be frustrated with the way they played tonight. And the fact that they almost came away with this game just kind of speaks to how good this team can be. I'm not trying to put a positive spin on it either. That's just what my observation is. They were the better team here. In terms of talent, tonight they were certainly not the better team. Wittenberg also made a great deal of mistakes themselves, but made less of them. And Capital, obviously, with the foul trouble, the offensive rebounding, that's something that we came up with as well. And just the lack of knocking down outside shots, like Coach said, those are reasons that they kind of shot themselves in the foot tonight.
Well, now they got to move on past it, and it's hard to believe, but we're already heading into OAC play. Capital will be taking on Ohio Northern. So while the men's team battles the Polar Bears at Ohio Northern on Saturday, we will have the women's game for you coming up on Saturday afternoon. That game is scheduled for a 3 o'clock tip, and we'll get things started with the pregame show beginning at 2:30. Before we get out of here, Jimmy, a couple of editorial things here. First of all, our player of the game brought to you by Donato's Pizza. Who would you choose?
I mean, you got to give it to Chad Roy, the way he played tonight. 14 points and 8 rebounds, and you got to give it to him. He really dominated the game whenever he was on the floor. He commanded a lot of just pressure from the defense. Tyler Jamison did a great job today, I think. It could have been a much bigger game for Chad Roy, but he stayed out of foul trouble tonight, and 14 points and 8 rebounds is the result, and could have been more if Jamison didn't play better defense. And honorable mention, I guess, to Shrek for the game. He played 15 points and 7 rebounds, played great defense, got to the line, and was kind of just commanding the whole game. But, again, it's a frustrating loss, and I can hear what Goodwin's saying, and Chad Roy's our player of the game.
And finally, our OAC scoreboard update brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs and Sandwiches. 2 finals from earlier today. Otterbein defeats Ohio Wesleyan 72-66, and John Carroll falls to Hope 85-72. Again, another reminder, we will be back on the air on Saturday afternoon when the women's team takes on Ohio Northern, so we get to see the women's team back in action once again, Jimmy, and hopefully they come out firing against the Polar Bear squad that's been a power in the OAC in terms of women's basketball.
Yeah, I mean, they got a blowout win against Mount Aloysius. But I don't know if they play the same way they did on Saturday. I think they're going to have to step it up a notch or two against Ohio Northern, a much tougher opponent. And we'll see how the game goes without Annika Watchman as well. If what Coach Wright said to you before today's game holds true and Annika doesn't play, Cassie Bosch is really going to be tested as well. And she's going to be going up against Britt Locke, one of the best players in the OAC on the women's side of things. So we'll see what Saturday holds. It's going to be fun. And it's usually a fun game. It's usually a really ugly, grinded-out game as well with Ohio Northern. So both teams looking to start 1-0, and then everyone's going to be chasing them from there on out.
Wittenberg improves to 3-1 tonight with the loss. Capital drops to 4-2. For my broadcast partner, Jimmy Bloomfield, this is Charlie Danis saying one final time. The final score tonight, Wittenberg 63, Capital 60 here at the Capitol Center. We will see you on Saturday afternoon when the Capital women's basketball team takes on the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern.